what happened beyond the way with you and BK that's like to where Florida Georgia Line can't be forever?
Yeah, good question. I mean, for me, it was really unexpected. But BK came to me and said, "Man, I'm really feeling like I want to do a solo thing."
Flash through the garden gates, lips wet with language, no violent memory, no simple precedent, and I know it's true.
Welcome to another episode of Bussin' with the Boys. If you're listening to us right now on audio, make sure you are subscribed to the boys. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, again, make sure you are subscribed to the boys. Look, I know we have a lot of dad listeners out there, and dads in the male population can struggle at times to make sure that we are all subscribed and hitting the right button. So I just want to keep you guys steady. In this episode today, our interview is with Tyler Hubbard. If you're here for the Tyler Hubbard interview and the Florida Georgia Line breakup, you'll fast forward. If you're on YouTube, you'll see the chapters, but you can fast forward to about hour 15, hour 30 minutes in. That interview gets started. On the intro today, we cover the roast of Tom Brady. We talk some good old dad stories and have a little dad segment. We talk Twisted Question that Mitch brought to us. Shout out, no free shout out. We get into some TV show talk, some current TV shows that your boy was binging these last 9 days while his wife was out of town. We also talk about JJ Watt and if him playing again in the NFL and saying he would do it if they absolutely needed him out in Houston. We kind of talk more about things in the sports world. OBJ going to the Dolphins. Our Girl Dad merch drops tomorrow on Wednesday, so make sure your dad, girl dad merch, you get that stuff bought up so that way it can be there in time for Father's Day. Again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Continue to leave comments, continue to engage. And not to mention, I do still see the comments. Yes, there's some internal conversations going on with the continued developing intro music, because I see people, oh, Will says this one day and it's still the same intro, yada yada. Listen, the boys hear you. We see all the comments. We're working on stuff. We're working toward new things. And we also have our live show in Nashville. We'll be announcing when that will be, either today, tomorrow, sometime this week. But again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. Enjoy this episode of Bussin' with the Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bussin' with the Boys. This is episode 275. It's a beautiful day to be alive. It is Monday, but you're watching this or listening to this on a Tuesday, and as soon as I get to see the Bussin' with the Boys is presented by Chevy. This Chevy truck podcast, the greatest trucks ever built, and our good friends at Chevy have been a big part of Bussin' family and even our personal lives. Will Compton, to the right of me, has the Chevy ZR2. Every time I see that vehicle, this morning when we were both walking in the gym, I was walking in, I saw his truck pull up, and I pulled my neck a little bit.
Oh,
I actually have like
you got a little kink,
a muscle spasm in there. If I look down into the right, kind of like the JFK magic bullet theory, I have pain. And because
you heard that beat. You heard that beat drop.
Yeah,
too.
you were ripping,
yeah.
Huh? It's got great, and that's stock radio, by the way. So find out for yourself, like so many of our boys. Head to Chevy.com and check out Chevy trucks. Grit and build your own Silverado, dude. It's like Legos for grown men. It's amazing. You can build it yourself. For do-it-yourself projects, to road trips, off-road adventures, to tailgates, wherever things take you, it all starts with Chevy trucks. Wow. Huh?
Yeah, I was banging that Not Like Us.
Was Not Like Us.
Kendrick Lamar, his little West Coast beat.
Did you? Yeah.
I did. I was listening to it this morning. I basically listened throughout, listened to all their beef songs this morning while I was working out. Because there's like 5 or 6 now.
Wait, since Saturday when Kendrick released that glove one?
That one was crazy.
The glove one was the glove one Meet the Grams?
No, the glove one was like 6 something.
Oh, 6. Oh, yeah, 616.
Dude, did you see
Father's Day one.
Did you see the whole thing on 616? Because apparently Drake said something about like you better come out with like a quintuplet, something I don't even understand. And there was like a Bible verse of 616, like 7 things that God hates, and he goes off in the song, has 7 things God hates. And then there was like the album release date, the producer was Taylor Swift's. It all like kind of came together. It was like 7 things because of 616.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's been a back and forth rap battle, as the boys like to call it.
I always have trouble following rap battles because it's just like you have to listen to the song multiple times to understand what
I know, and you need to know the context and history. Like I find myself on Instagram and YouTube listening to these people break down. There's an incredible breakdown, yesterday. I forget who the cat was, but it's like 7 minutes long or 5 minutes long.
You sent me one.
Which one did I send you on Instagram?
Yeah, you wrote. Yeah, I forget. You sent it to me on Friday.
See, that's a different one. That one's just a breakdown of Euphoria.
Yeah,
That was just a breakdown of Euphoria. Then this cat breaks down the history of like people, a lot of people in the industry like hating Drake. It's like The Weeknd, talk about Rick Ross. He goes through like a timeline of it all going, basically building up the way it is. And Kendrick Lamar having all the, subtle comments and the depth to each little bar that he has. He's like breaking it down.
So obviously I don't know a whole lot about this. Dude, does anybody know the origin story of how Kendrick and Drake started going at it?
I couldn't even tell you.
J. Cole started it, but I don't know anything.
But why is Kendrick coming on? See, there's a whole bunch. I would love somebody in the comments to tell me everything that's going on with this, because I just want to know how this all started.
Yeah, we got 5 white guys trying to break down
exactly,
a rap
and it's
battle right now.
we're just the wrong population to be doing this right now. But Drake has a lyric that's like, I'm doing 20 verse 1 or something like that, talking about like all these dudes coming at him, but he's still murdering all of them. All this stuff that I just don't get. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Other than the four
And then
things my brain read.
people. Yeah, we got these. We got these. I know. We got
It's
these
like a
flies,
horsefly too.
and we're growing them in this thing.
The spring is such a beautiful time, but as spring goes to summer,
This fly caught some radiation.
Yeah. The amount of bugs I have in my house right now is insane. Look at this motherfucker.
I know,
dude.
that-
He's just ripping around.
It's a thick boy right there.
Yeah. Oh. You gotta get him to rest on you.
I know. He don't look like he's resting anytime soon.
No, he got all the energy
we
in the
need
world.
JP to
dude.
take it. JP's got a little bit of space to work with. If that. Oh
Did you get his ass?
no.
Oh, nope. He's right here. He's right here. Anyway, people probably don't want to listen to us. Is this off? Our TV monitor.
Good news though, we get to do we'll get to run through this intro fairly faster because we have a awesome guest on with Tyler Hubbard today.
Yes.
The breakup of Florida Georgia Line will be the headlining story of this whole thing.
And we shot this episode, like a month ago, a couple months ago, when Tyler was coming out. He came, sat on the bus. The conversation was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those classic Bussin' with the Boys organic conversations where you feel like things are just flowing great the entire time. Tyler was very open and honest.
He
shared
shared
a lot
with us,
the
man.
struggles, the trials and tribulations, the origin story of Florida Georgia Line, all of that stuff. But there's been, the reason why I say we filmed it so long ago, there's been so many developments since then. BK, Brian Kelly, his ex, I don't know, co-singer, is that what you call it? His ex-partner. He came out with a song that says, "You Can Kiss My Boots." Now, if you listen to the song on your own, it just sounds like a guy. Have you heard the song?
Mm-mm.
If you listen to the song on your own, it really just sounds like a guy and a girl broke up and the girl's talking shit about the guy. And he's like, this is a small town. I hear everything, blah, blah, blah. But knowing there was a breakup and a lot of people in the fan bases of Florida Georgia Line kind of picking a side, drawing a line down the middle. You got to pick BK or Tyler. A lot of fans are coming out and saying, hey, this is about Tyler. All this. There's like a snake.
So we got a country battle going on.
We got Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and we got a country battle.
Forget Kendrick and Drake. BK and Tyler Hubbard.
Yeah, we got a southern battle going down with the boys over here in the southeastern area of the country. It is. So there's a lot to read into, but this is actually a great episode. You guys are really going to enjoy it.
Yeah. That was a song that you dropped, right?
I dropped.
In our group chat.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get to. I listened to some of it, but I didn't get to listen to
and
all of it.
you can listen to it, and it's very easy. If I just say to you, it's about Tyler Hubbard, and you go listen to the song, you're like, this is 100% about Tyler Hubbard. But zero context, to me, I was trying to listen to it like without having an ear, trying to be biased towards Tyler.
Right.
It also felt like a breakup song. So it's creativity, boys. Boys just getting creative in the lab, getting after it.
They want to get in the lab. They want the example of Kendrick and Drake right now, they should be taking notes. That's how you need to be handling a beef. Because whatever albums they drop from here on out, their next album's going to do so many numbies. Yeah, many numbies, bro.
They're going to go crazy.
I mean, Drake does anyway, but and so does Kendrick. But knowing that this beef is going on, I know it's just got all. It reminds me, it's like when The Rock and The Undertaker, they're showing back up in the WWE.
Yeah.
Everyone's going nuts. You got older generations, everybody kind of coming together to watch all this unfold because the rap battle still hasn't happened for such a long time.
Yeah. I wonder there are conspiracy theories about this whole rap battle thing, and as it's like shown that if you get in an argument with another person of popularity, your numbers are going to go up because their fans are going to want to watch you and vice versa.
Yeah.
Do you think this is
manufactured?
planned? Yeah.
No.
Could it
I
have
don't
been?
think so.
Could it have been though? Because
So-
I love a good
so here-
conspiracy theory.
I know, but if you kind of follow the timeline of everything, you see when Cat Williams, even when he's on Shannon Sharp's podcast, he talks about year 2024, people are going to start getting exposed, and people are alluding that to like, oh, this is Drake's part of this
Yeah, Cat said it
crew,
first.
part of this group, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot
Cat
going
Williams
on.
is the Black Alex Jones.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah, they're both like Drake is so polarizing. It's like his latest one. It's basically just saying like, "Oh, you're lying," which you don't really know. And then he said he baited him. He baited him to make the songs before that. But it's like, if you knew you were baiting him, why don't you have like actual like, say your phone's out and you're recording yourself like, "Hey, we're about to get his ass" type of thing, and then you're showing yourself, give the information. Like if you're that much playing chess,
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't do that to kind of show that off versus, you kind of sit back, you can let comments and everybody's words unfold and kind of use whatever narrative fits, that next song. It kind of reminds me a lot of like when all the AB stuff was going down with the Raiders and people like, oh, there's probably more to the story here. There's probably more to the story there. And everybody's giving them the benefit of the doubt. And then he kind of allows people to paint a certain narrative and then he'll lean into that one because that's what best suits him in that moment.
Mm-hmm. The rap battle thing is interesting because there is really a book pretty much written for it. Eminem.
The rap battling.
He's kind of
Rome. There's another
Rone's a war daddy
diss
too.
track.
But I'm talking about like strategically. Like if you look at MGK before he ventured off and went into the punk rock scene, he had that song Rap
Kill
God,
Shot,
Rap
right?
Devil.
Oh
He
yeah.
had Rap Devil, and it was about Eminem. The next, I think, within the 24 hours, Eminem had Kill Shot on MGK, and it was just him going ham on MGK for a minute. And so, I don't know why. Like that's why things just seem manufactured to me. Like all the stuff's just coming out now. Like we're all kind of planning. Okay, you release, and I'll release, and you release.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's been fun.
Once again, it's a category that we know nothing about.
Yeah. I sit back and I'm like, oh shit. Some of the boys will drop in the group chat. Oh, another diss track comes out. I'm like, oh shit. Let me take a listen.
Yeah.
Wonder what he means here. Wonder what he means there. I'm trying to research articles to stay privy to the culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was at Franklin Factory, and that when one of the boys put the diss track in the group chat, I was taking a toozy in the bathroom. I just had it on loud, listening to it myself, full volume.
I
And the
feel
whole
you,
time
man.
I'm like, I got to listen to this 4 more times just to
Yeah.
understand the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult. It's hard to pick all that shit up, dude.
Yeah.
But it's
Somebody-
also
somebody
so
farted?
impressive.
Somebody toot?
That's
a little humid in here. A little sneaky one came out, huh?
little humid in here. One just greased out of the pipes,
Yeah,
huh?
I think so.
But yeah, that creativity, man. To be able to just go at somebody that hard,
I know, bro. It's fucking
insane.
awesome.
it makes you appreciate Roan that much more.
Did you listen to Rone's diss track
No.
on KFC?
No.
You gotta check
On
that one out.
KFC?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You
No.
gotta check that one out.
No.
Just murdered him in cold blood.
Yeah.
And then KFC was saying that that they were texting. He's like, "Hey, I have something written, like, basically asking how much farther do we want to go with this or yada yada." And he goes, and Rome
So
says,
it was planned. It
no,
was
no, it
manufactured.
wasn't. No, it wasn't manufactured. But KFC's texting with him, trying to find where the line could potentially be. He's like, if I release this, will you have anything else? Blah blah blah. And Roan basically responded like, "I'll empty the clip. Like I will end you
Yeah.
if you put this out. If you put something out, put something else out." But Roan, you don't want to get involved. We got espressos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lock it in with a Lucy real quick, brother. Hate to kill your vibe. I didn't want to kill your flow there. I just want to pass it over.
it's like you don't want to get in beef with Roan because of the rap battle shit, and you don't want to get in a beef with Francis because of the blogging.
If you had to categorize who you don't want to make upset at Barstool, it would probably go Dave number 1, obviously, and then Francis, and then Roan, and then probably Big Cat.
See, I don't think Dave would be the number one.
Really?
I don't think Dave would be. If I'm going into a beef thing with Dave being number one, I would be more concerned about like a Francis and a Roan.
Because creatively, how they would handle it.
Yeah, like they can big brain hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, god damn.
I saw a clip of Francis
Like,
on Instagram the other day doing stand up. He is so fucking funny.
Francis
genuinely.
Francis is good.
Talking about him and his girl starting to try, and she's got a whole new bag of tricks. She's like, "That's crazy. I've been giving you everything I have
yeah.
this whole entire time." And I just think to myself, bro, how do you think of that? It's amazing.
Yeah. That stuff. Like Francis and Roan have the ability, language wise, verbally, to just somebody like me, you just got to go animal brain, and you just resort to fighting. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing you can do. You just get so bamboozled.
It's
you
like
kind of can't keep your wits to you. If it's like Dave or Big Cat, like those would be fun battles. But you're just like, I don't know. They seem a little bit more fun. Like Roan and Francis, you're kind of sitting back like, man, what the fuck is about to happen?
Yeah. The reason why I brought up Dave as number one is because his following is so strong, and he literally,
for sure.
he has a track record and he has receipts of ending people.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get ratioed into oblivion with Dave. Yeah. But as far as reading and listening to the stuff, it's
creatively. If you're talking about just one-on-one, like to verbally go back and forth with Dave or Big Cat, you feel like those are like more suiters for your category,
right? You could ultimately
try
a lot
of curse words and a lot of insults, but at the end, you're
couple
kind of
farts.
Yeah.
Like I might
just trying to be trying to be funny about it. Like Roan and Francis legitimately are just in a different category than us. That we wouldn't be able to handle it verbally.
Yeah. I would say on whose bad side I wouldn't want to be on in like a beef in the Barstool world. I would say
I'm going to change mine as well, because I think Dave does go down the list now.
I'd say Francis, Roan, Dave. That'd be my top three. Francis,
That's a good
Roan,
list.
Dave.
It's a good list. Those are the three. Something about sneaky guys though, Rico and Jersey Jerry. Not from them, just from their little armies that just follow them around and are truly willing to kamikaze you and actually murder you. I feel like they have people that legitimately, if like it really came down to it, would come to your house and kill you.
Yeah, like
for them.
Like everybody has audiences, they have soldiers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they'd probably be 4 and 5. Because Big Cat never gets malicious.
Yeah, Big Cat. He's just trying to have a good time.
He just
tries to have
a good
vibes.
He loves to throw a chirp and then resent.
He does try to find the line.
But he tries to do it in a fun way where he like the draft. When we were there, he pretended like, oh, hey, who are you the whole time? It's like, oh, he's having fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's having a good time with this.
Yeah.
As opposed to Dave, who's just mean.
Yeah, he'll come after you. Dave
he
will
does.
Come after you, man.
He just comes at you.
So is your top 3 the same?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably put Dave at 3 after this
throw
conversation.
Throw Rico or Jerry in there so that way we can have
all right,
different
I would
lists.
go top 3 people you don't want to kind of get in a spat with. I would go Francis probably 1, just how he handles himself on the mic and in the writing category. I would put Roan 2 because he's just more creative and wittier than both of us. And then I'd probably put Jerry 3. I think ever since Jerry After Dark, ever since the hole-in-one, the chat, he's just got the chat. He has the chat, and the chat will handle you. And like I said before, if you and Jerry truly got into it, where there was like true beef, like a Kendrick and a Drake situation, Jerry's gonna have a baker's dozen people lining outside your door to truly, actually, not joking, murder you, and they're ready to
Jerry's
go.
Army, right?
Yeah, Jerry's Army.
Jerry's Army.
What do we have? What do we have?
Hey, I'll tell you what,
Bussin,
and I don't want this.
Bussin Bros.
Don't sleep on Kirk Minahan.
Well, we were talking about
Don't
this.
sleep on Kirk Minahan whatsoever. I forgot about that one. Hey, and to all the Minute fans out there, people, I'm not trying to pester up nobody. Do not sleep on Kirk Minahan.
We were talking in Alabama before the live show. I would love to feel the wrath of Kirk Minahan like losing his shit on me.
Yeah.
I would appreciate that moment of just not where I'm being the bad guy, but like he's getting worked up and I'm just like, hey, what's the big deal? He's like, and then he just I'm the person that he decides to go in on, even though I've done nothing to him. I would enjoy.
He'd find an angle. I don't think you just maybe you'd be able to smoke him out, but he'd find an angle. He'd find an angle.
Well, when I was watching Barstool Survivor, it seemed like he just took whatever angle he wanted.
Yeah, but he'll find them in their moments, and then that's when he gets you.
That's how he snipes you.
That's how he snipes you, bro.
God, that Barstool Survivor thing would be a fun thing to do.
I think they're working on trying to get another one going.
I'm down.
I know you're on the list.
Dave asked me if I wanted to do it. I was like, yeah, I would absolutely do it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be fun if you were there, Biz, Wit.
I know Whit's like,
Bev,
I'm not
Rome.
trying to sleep. I'm not trying to be in the office for
Who,
however
Whit?
it is. I'm like, Whit, I'm telling you,
Dude,
it's
Whit
kind,
is
it's kind of a blast,
yes.
bro.
Whit is maybe the most underrated Barstool talent.
I don't know if he's underrated. I think he's
properly
everybody
rated?
knows. Yeah, I mean, he's well on the Unnamed show with Dave.
Yeah, I just whenever I'm around him, I just like the reason why I think he's underrated is when I get around Whit, I enjoy myself more than I expect to enjoy myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I get there, I'm like, oh, we're gonna do a sandbagger with the boys. I'm like, oh, that'll be fun. I don't like golf, but it'll be fun to hang out with the boys. And then I sit with Whit in a cart for 9 holes, and I'm like, this is way more fun than I expected.
Yeah, Whit is funny, man.
The best, dude. They're the best.
Self-deprecating. That's the best humor.
Absolutely.
I think before you get away from people roasting each other, it's probably the perfect segue.
For the Tom Brady roast?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, this
No,
is off.
the screen's
Do we want to
off.
pause real quick?
We cannot knock out an ad.
All right, before we get into Tom Brady and
Let's,
the roast of Tom Brady, let's talk about DraftKings.
Yeah, a
Brady.
little word from our sponsors. DraftKings. Did you ever play the over-under game with your friends? You know.
Yeah.
Think I can eat that slice of pizza in under 30 seconds? Or I know it'll take you
Yes.
over a minute to down that 2-liter of cola. If you have, then you're going to love Pick 6, the newest fantasy app from DraftKings, an official partner of the NHL. Here's how to play during the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's super simple. First, download the DraftKings Pick 6 app. Then select between 2 and 6 players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Like, will a player have more than 3 shots on goal? Will a player have less than 2 points? Track your picks and play against others for a shot at huge cash prizes. And that's all there is to it. And for the first time, Pick 6 players. Check this out. New customers play. If new customers play $5, they get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Jump in now to the new most fun way to play fantasy sports, Pick 6 from DraftKings. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code BUS. New customers play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. That's code BUS, B-U-S, only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. That actually sounds fun.
Dude, the over-under reminded me, you and I were tagged in a video of this high school kid who drank 5 bottles of water in under 20 seconds.
Oh, I saw that.
You
bro.
saw that?
I mean, I'm
Jack,
not touching I'm not touching him.
Jack, I'm going to send this to you, and then can you put it up real quick? Because I think we
Boys,
need to.
It's insane. He basically sits there and he has the 5 waters, and I think that he wasn't allowed to do it at school. Like the teacher's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
no,
the teacher
so
got
they
mad
had
at
to
him.
go off. They had to go off script, and he challenges like me, Taylor, and I think
Kid's a little jacked, too.
Yeah,
Kid's got a little muscle
yeah,
on him.
bit of a specimen.
Yeah.
He challenges like me, Taylor, and McAfee. Yeah,
Challenge
like,
us.
He's got
He called
5
us
waters
out.
lined up, 5 bottles of water, and he basically just goes like,
Jack, I sent
all
it to you
5
on
of them,
Instagram.
bro. All 5 of them.
This is the kid right here.
All right, so I was not able to do this at my school's talent show.
You've already been told you're not allowed to do this. Give me the water bottles.
All right. Even though I believe it's a talent, today I'm going to be doing the 5 water bottle chug. I nominate Taylor Lewan, Will Compton, and Pat McAfee to try this challenge. Rules are pretty simple. Down the water. On my go, Sean. All right. Just on me. Vertical. Thank you.
1. That was good.
Oh my God.
Get it, Kai.
20 seconds. Holy cow. What the hell? That is wild.
Look at him.
He's
little
got
unit.
little shoulders on him. He knows what he's doing with the one size too small in the t-shirt too. Bro obviously plays middle linebacker.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard. I
I've
know
seen
what
the
he's
video.
saying.
Oh, it's 4 bottles of water.
You can just play it though. Like as we're talking now, cut us out and just play this video.
Yeah. You can see, look at, and I like his technique, but here's what he does. He does a really good job of hiding the entire bottle. See, when he crushes it, you don't know if he's taking all that. There's probably a couple ounces in there. That's the cheat code.
I don't know, bro. He's fucking squeezing the life out of him.
But I think we should try this. I mean, I commented.
I mean, yeah, I'll do it. I'll fucking put him to rest. Hey, you might have met your maker, bro.
That's fast. That's fast. It's also water.
So meaning much easier.
Need to know if he threw up afterwards.
Yeah, I gotta know if he threw up afterwards.
Yeah,
Water, anything
very
that's
good
not
point,
carbonated.
Jack.
Anything that's not carbonated is obviously easier to drink because the carbonation will kind of float up your tube a little bit.
That's right, because the way you put down that twisted tea and then it kind of just came out your nose, it was so fast.
Yeah, I had that deviated septum.
Yeah.
But it does, that happens all the time to me, even doing beer.
You put it down and it's just
dude, the close up, JP, did you cut that clip from Alabama Live Show? Yeah. Dude, that was, I knew some came out, but I didn't know it drained out. It looked like it had like a, what were those things called? Like a neti pot? When you put it in your nose and it just kind of comes out. That's what it's like for my nose, bro.
It was literally like, and then you had a certain look on your face. Like if you're in a horror film and you just look over at your buddy, what's happening to Taylor? And you just kind of stand there and shit just pours out of your nose.
You guys were going, oh! And I was like, whoa, what happened? Yeah.
The roast of Tom Brady. I haven't got to watch it.
I know, I want to see
fully
it
in
so
succession,
bad.
but I've seen a lot of the clips on the internet. What a night that must have been with the boys.
I know. Fights was there too, yeah? I think I saw a picture of him.
Yeah.
Fights was there?
Yeah. Fights was there.
That is
Our boy,
awesome.
Rich Eisen.
Where was this at?
Yeah, Bert and Tom
I
were
saw
there.
Bert and Tom sneaking in there.
But when they had, look at this.
Gosh, dude.
That clip you just had up, Jack, I saw when I saw Will this morning, I was like, hey, that was a nice little post you had about Rue and the 9 days you guys spent together. And Will was talking about how he was tearing up even writing the post.
I was like, yeah, boy, was kind of jerking the tears a little bit making that. He's like, you made yourself cry on your own video. I was like,
it's wild how your kids will just make you cry for no reason.
It just turn you into a pussy, dude.
Yeah, big time puss, dude. Puss.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, I was
funny.
like, oh, I'm like, sweetheart, I'm cooking up a reel right now, and I almost can't get through it.
Yeah, fights made it. Rich Eisen was there, just in the crowd. Dana had himself 60 seconds from the crowd. Apparently, you told me that, right?
Yeah, he started off with a transgender joke right out of the gate.
Good.
Netflix ratings.
Good.
I'm curious how many people had like a comedian or a roaster write for them.
Had to be a lot of them.
Yeah, Julian Edelman. Did you see his zinger?
No.
Oh, bro.
Elite.
Yeah, from the top rope. He's like, Bill, Bill would always say, like, what the fuck are we doing here? We can get somebody from Foxborough High to play like this, basically. And then he goes, I've been waiting a long time to say something like this. Got a good little laugh. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Foxborough High is the only job offer that you have. Just murdered him, yeah. So Bill's laughing. Like, it was awesome.
So they had a good time.
Yeah, Bill Belichick's roasting everybody. He's roasting Gronk. He's like, I'm known for do your job. I'm known for telling players, hey, just do your job. He's like, Gronk, I spent the season watching you on Sunday, like Football America, Sunday Foot, whatever the show where he was on the panel with Strahan and Howie Long and all those boys.
The Sunday Night Football pre-show.
Yeah, and he goes, Gronk, you need to stop doing your job. Just killing. And then Kill Tony, he had a run, bro.
Once I heard
just
he was
posted
on
that
it?
clip on Twitter. Matter of fact, should we just listen to it?
Yeah, I can find it.
Can you guys hear it all back there?
No.
I've seen it though.
Okay, you've seen it? I mean, just he's killing everybody.
You said Dana's was good too, yeah?
It won't be able to run on YouTube now.
Oh, it won't be able to? Okay, never mind. We don't want to get demonetized. Deplatformed. But Kill Tony's like, I knew Gronk was here because they ran out of all the chocolate milk in the back. So I knew he'd be sitting up here, like just messing with him on some, like being like a little kid.
Yeah. But Gronk was there. Who's the dude? Schultz. Andrew Schultz is there.
He said, it's Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz is here. Did you just get done watching YouTube videos on how to dap up black guys?
Dude, Bert and Tom just standing there talking about Tom Brady's photo. I just saw that one clip of them like genuinely laughing about it. Just those two together.
Yeah.
It's just automatically funny.
You got to touch on when looks like he got mad at Jeff Ross about Robert Kraft, the massage.
That's the one clip I have not seen.
I saw that clip. So
Taylor was telling me about that.
Kraft makes a joke, or not Kraft. Jeff Ross makes a joke about Robert Kraft having a good time, blah, blah, how great the franchise is, and then kind of just pauses for a second and says, do you want a massage? And the crowd does the uncomfortable laugh, like we're all like, oh, in the
There were a few of those I felt like.
Yeah. But you want those in a roast. Like you want to go too far in a roast.
Right.
And Tom Brady pulls a Will Smith and walks up and whispers in Jeff Ross's ear, cut that shit out. And you can hear him over the mic.
So that's what I was going to ask. Do you think it was real? Do you think
that's what I'm curious about?
I wonder.
Because that's why I asked Taylor too. I was like, did it seem like it was real?
And the thing that I'll have to watch like the I'll have to watch the whole thing through. But all the clips I saw, whenever they pan to Tom, he's kind of doing uncomfortable, like not like feels uncomfortable in
Yeah.
his own skin type of thing.
Click that hyperlink up there with the confrontation with Jeff Ross. Maybe it'll have that video. I think he's playing.
You think he's playing?
I think he's playing. Yeah, I think he's playing right there. That was like Tom, like, yeah, just coming to bat for his guy.
Yeah, I mean that's a wild deal. And that's amazing too. How that whole Robert Kraft massage thing kind of just. It was like in the news for 24 hours. It was a quick little deal.
Yeah, bro. I'm watching. I'll save it for my shout out. But hey, the cats at the top, man. It's they're untouchable.
Oh, conspiracy?
Not conspiracy. It's just
I'm dying for a conspiracy today.
Yeah, I just think untouchable.
What about Deflategate? Did you see that joke?
No.
Oh,
See, that's why I hate it because I want to watch it.
yeah.
But
Last
I'm
night I was
stuck
laying in
right
bed.
now. I can't wait to talk some shows because I'm stuck right now, and that's the only reason why I wasn't watching this because I was like, oh, I gotta get this show, and dude, I'm binging it hard right now.
I was laying in bed last night and I thought I should put this on for the show tomorrow. And I just
Do you want me
decided
to-
go sleep.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Says Tom Brady admits to Deflategate.
Oh, he admits to Deflategate.
That's what the quote.
And that Deflategate's real. But Bill steps up and he's like, I'm excited to be here at Tom Brady's roast, not to be confused with the 10-part docuseries on the roast of Bill Belichick. Everyone started laughing at that. Kraft is sitting there because that was like a hit job on old Bill Belichick. I feel not everyone. When I say everybody, I mean like players. I feel like have been vocal about like they hated the way the docuseries was. I personally love the Dynasty docuseries because I'm not like a Boston like. Growing up in the Midwest, you don't see all the Northeast stuff, like how everything was shaken up back in the early 2000s. So I thought it was a cool, like, look inside of everything. But then once you get to the end of it and you see Julian Edelman and all these players kind of talking about it, you see that it was like a hit job on Bill. And then Kraft, I want to say either at the owners summit or something, to where they're kind of interviewing him, and he's like, I kind of hate the way that they portrayed Bill, and it's like, bro. You for sure signed off on every episode before it went out there.
Yeah, it's interesting how big this country is and how you kind of like in your own little area based on where you grew up. And because when you and I watch it, and all of us, I think we all really enjoyed the Dynasty docuseries. But then you talk to people that are like Dave. We talked to him at UFC 299. He hated it. Edelman didn't like it. People that were in that world and have been a part of that world since this dynasty started seem like there's a consensus that they don't like it very much.
Yeah.
Compared to us who just watch it and are like kind of like, oh my God, this is fucking insane.
Yeah. Which I kind of feel the aspect of like they won a lot of Super Bowls and football games, obviously, but they seem to always talk about the down times and the down years. They kind of fast forward or skip through like when they won. So I get that. But it's them docuseries, it seems like it's just hard to hit or miss on. Like everybody hated the Florida Gators one.
Well, that one was bad. The Florida the swamp, what was it called?
Swamp Kings.
Swamp Kings. There is, it should have been a 5-part series. They're trying to put all that information with all those characters at the University of Florida into a 45-minute episode is just not doing you a service. You don't even touch on the Aaron Hernandez stuff. You hardly touch on half the things. So it kind of becomes, that could have been way better. The problem is The Last Dance with Michael Jordan is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, and now people are trying to redo that. And the Dynasty could have been that. It could have absolutely been that if they would have just taken the time to check every single box. Because in The Last Dance, they do such a great job of talking about the highs and the lows and finding the balance there, of showing like the struggle of how it got there, but also like this dude, Michael Jordan, who's like was not taking no for an answer, and all like how he was an asshole to people. And then it's Michael Jordan looking at an iPad being like, I took that personally 17 times. Mm-hmm. Like they did such an amazing job. I've literally seen that documentary. I think I've rewatched it twice.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And with the Jordan one, I mean, that's decades after he's done playing. Like this one's fresh out of the gate. So there's obviously going to be some politicking going on, I feel like.
So maybe a little bit rushed, you think?
Yeah, I think so. And again, it's more from one angle, and it's fresh.
Yeah.
It's like the Jordan one, you got the years that went by, and then I'm sure people were just, the writers and the content team and the creative team were just dialed in on how they wanted to tell the story. And it's over one guy.
Right.
Versus like an entire organization.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like if Tom Brady, this is Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and Robert Kraft. And if you were to take maybe a few more years and able to like surround all the storylines together and lay it out great, as far as like you're saying, like not just put it down so quickly, it would have been such a better product.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought they did really well was quarterbacks this past year. Omaha
That was
Productions
sick.
and Netflix did that. I can't wait to see Receiver this year.
Yeah,
Receiver
bro.
is going to be elite.
We're doing a season 2 of quarterback too.
Are they also? Also, they're starting a new one season of Receiver and then doing a second season of quarterback.
I think so.
What they need to do is tight ends. You have so many tight end
Well,
personalities
George,
right now.
George is in it. I want.
He's
maybe
in
is
receiver?
Is Travis Kittle? Yeah, George Kittle is in receiver.
Yeah, George is doing a great job of creating that brand.
They
outside
need
of
it. They
football.
need to do. They need to get some hogs, dude.
Yeah, I just
You know
don't.
what I mean?
It's just so
Just the
difficult.
unsung heroes.
Some big boys.
Yeah, it's just some big boys, but it would probably be so hard to like garner content from it because the big boys
They don't want to. They don't want to talk. It is changing.
They don't want to get
though.
out there like that. They don't care.
No, it's changing. It really is. There's a changing of the guard right now of like the older generation, the new generation, where offensive linemen are really starting to talk, really starting to find their personalities. And I think it's going to be in the next couple of years, you'll have that opportunity to do like an offensive line thing.
Would you have done it?
Yeah. Probably not.
Oh, you would have done it.
No,
Oh, it's so bro. You would have done
no,
it.
like I think sitting here right now, yes, like my personality right now, how I've like zoomed out of football, I think it'd have been really difficult for me if I was like week 4 into the season and having a tough game, or you know how it is when coaches are always kind of on you and always being like, that's not good enough, that's not good enough. And to think, oh, this is getting filmed. I think I would have really struggled with that, finding a balance of like keeping the same, attitude every single day. With that.
Right, but devil's advocate, by that point, you'd have already signed the dotted line to do it. Because you don't know you're
Yeah.
having those trials and tribulations.
I think in the off season you'd catch me and I'd say yes.
Yeah.
And I got in the middle of the season, I'd be like, why the fuck did I do this?
Yeah.
It would be because it's warfare mentally and physically. The entire football season, that would be so difficult.
But it still comes out as a positive.
yeah, you're
Because
probably
it's a lot.
right.
It's
You're-
a lot of things that people don't see.
Yeah, I would probably do it. I would most likely do it, but I would just. Sitting here now, I think knowing my mental state back then and how it was all ball all the time, I would have a more difficult. I had a hard time doing this show while I was playing, and that was once a week.
Yeah, but I mean, we were doing it for 3 years.
Yeah, it would be a harder thing.
You would have done linemen.
Yeah,
you would have done
probably.
hogs. You would have done hogs.
Hogs had been
Yeah,
sick.
you would have done hogs.
Who would have been? Who would be in it right now? Hogs.
Like right now,
Yeah, Lane Johnson, Trent Williams,
Jason Kelsey.
Jason. He's retired.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said right now.
The guy on the Cowboys, Zach Martin.
Zach, dude, Zach doesn't really talk.
You think Quentin Nelson would do it?
I think he would. I do. I think Quentin would be really good. That's a good one. We'll put him in there.
Bach would be good if you were.
Bakhtiari,
Yeah,
but
Bach.
my boy's in limbo right now.
We got to.
Bach would be fantastic if he was.
We got to get Bach
old
on soon.
Packers Bach right now. He'd be a perfect candidate for it. You know who I think would be a good candidate is Deion Dawkins.
Yeah, he would.
Bills.
Be.
So there's 4, and I think one more you throw in like a Laramie Tunsil. Now you have big names.
Right.
Laramie loves fashion. He's a good ball player. I don't know his personality very well, but I know Deion would do a phenomenal job. Bach, man.
Yeah, here's some more cats right here.
Tristan would be good. Panay. So Panay Swell. I don't know a whole lot about this cat. I haven't seen a whole lot about his film. Is that how you say his? Sewell. Panay Sewell. But he apparently, talking to like a couple of Lions guys, says he's the best dude.
Really?
Yeah, he's like one of the greatest cats. Awesome to be around. Hard worker. Just signed a massive deal. I think $23 million a year.
Yeah, he signed a big dog deal.
Big dog deal. Playing RT too,
Yeah.
which is impressive. So I think he'd be good.
Jordan Mailata would be good too.
Yeah, Jordan would be really good. But I think if you had to pick between Jordan and Lane, who you taking? Because you don't want 2 guys on the same team.
I just feel
I
like
think
for like the purpose of a family-friendly event.
think you're taking Jordan over
Mailata
Lane?
would be big because he was huge with the singing for Jason's album last year.
I'll tell you that
like
every
he's like
time
a
that comes up,
family-friendly
pisses me off.
type.
And Polynesian, you check the box.
When he was
Yeah.
a rugby player. That'd be cute.
I'm saying you got to have
I know,
one of
I
each
know,
one. You know what I mean?
That's a serious
Yeah,
combo.
yeah.
But most of the dudes we've said are black or checking a box.
True.
So if anything, we need more white guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. Both great guys.
Both great guys. I don't know Jordan very well, but what about Rashawn Slater? Do you know anything about him?
No, I don't.
I know he's a good ball player. Had a bicep last year. They need to do rookies.
Just called The Rookie.
Call it rookie.
Yeah.
That might be a Bussin' with the Boys production.
we'll get
Ronnie Stanley too. I think he would do really well.
JJ Watt. Did you see that he's still open to return to the NFL?
No, I didn't see that until they pulled up the article.
You notice you notice that he sees the boys. We have our private jet.
Yeah,
yeah.
The Huskers. That would be our private jet too.
He's
get mad every time we get on that plane.
He said last year he told D'Amico, "Don't call unless you absolutely need it. But if you ever do call, I'll be there." And he knows not to call unless he absolutely needs it. This is the last year I'll tell him that because I'm not going to keep training the way I've been training. But he knows that if he ever truly does need it, I'll be there for him.
I mean, that's
I don't
a cool
anticipate
quote.
it happening. They've got a very good group. So, okay, you think he'd return?
I mean,
if the depth struggled,
based on that quote, I would say yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
if they had a bunch of injuries and it was week 5 or something like that, call him in, get him a couple weeks to warm up and get like back in the basics, then get after it. Yeah.
Because he's been more open. I mean, you can see he goes on the Pat McAfee show. His tweet game's been getting out there a little bit more. He's tweeting a lot more, and you see he's still ass to grass with a lot of weight on his back.
Yeah.
So you know he's still training.
He's training his ass off. He looks fantastic too.
Yeah.
He looks great. And I wonder if it's setting in that like, okay, football's over. I mean, he's got all the opportunities in the world, but still there's always a piece of you that's like, man, can I still do it? Can I still do it?
When you're juggling all those things off the field, and then if you get later in the year and the depth is struggling, you could make a return on a good squad.
And the Texans are contenders this year.
Even the branding and everything you're doing off the field, like, yeah. You get your
The prodigal son returns to Houston for one last ride.
Yeah.
There's a documentary in its own right there.
We're just making docs.
Netflix's own Watt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could absolutely do it. I mean, you look at it in the last couple of years at the Cardinals, like he wasn't JJ Watt of Houston, but still very slippery. Still did a great job of rushing the passer. Like he could still have played in the NFL this past year and been
1000%.
A guy you circle and be like, listen, he might be older, but he's still a cat that you got to worry about.
Yeah, he's still disruptive.
Plays hard, gives effort. So, yeah, I mean,
first in, last out.
Yeah, I think
Sneaky
the leadership
athletic.
too, because Houston, I think I have to look more at the depth chart, but Houston seems like they're a squad that is extremely talented, but young, really young. They have a lot of young talent there, and if you brought in a leadership guy like JJ Watt, it might be taking them over the edge.
Houston might win it all this year.
That's a shitty thing, is they might.
Do what?
I think that was your early prediction.
Yeah, I do. I think Houston's got all. Now, look, I think the other day I was watching the divisional round, Niners versus Packers. Watching the Packers just kind of blow it there in the last 2
You
minutes.
rewatching film?
Yeah, like, dude, God bless her. But if we're not watching Miss Rachel, if I'm like, oh, no, we'll watch Miss Rachel later or whatever, she'll literally say football. So I'll go on and I'll be like, oh, you want to watch football? And I'm just thinking like, there's no football on. And the NFL Network, divisional round, Niners, Packers. And we're just sitting there watching football. And, but anyway, the Niners, they have to win this year. Like their window of having all these players is obviously closing.
I know.
And they have such a core unit that it's all or nothing this year. I think it's been all or nothing for them the last couple, losing a couple quarterbacks 2 years ago. Obviously this past year was like, it doesn't matter unless they win the whole thing and they get to the Super Bowl and then unfortunately lost to the fucking Chiefs. But this year, I think like having that group together, like they have one more shot.
If you're playing in the scenario of the 49ers and they're in the Super Bowl, the team that they should play is the Chiefs. Chiefs have won 2 in a row.
Chiefs, I don't think will get back.
Stop, dude.
I guess we'll see. I think Houston's the team in the AFC.
Houston, Baltimore's
going to be a
Miami
great squad.
Is nasty.
Tennessee.
Don't sleep on the Steelers. They have Arthur Smith at OC right now. Tennessee is brewing up a squad right now.
They're brewing, but it's not going to be this
If you were to rank AFC South right now, if you were to rank,
you don't ever know.
You never know, Jack. You never know. If you're looking at the AFC South, this is how I'd rank AFC South right now. You got to put Houston at 1. Have to. Then you put the Titans at 2.
I don't know.
And then you put the Colts at 3 and the Jags are in 4.
I don't know. I don't know if that's right.
Bro, we were in there with Callahan. You saw the boys.
Rank yours.
I would go Houston. I would go Colts. Then I would go Titans and Jacksonville.
But Jacksonville is 4.
Yeah, I think the AFC South is a very tough division this year.
Now, yes, absolutely.
Like
Anthony
them being
Richardson,
four, I'm not like
C.J.
obviously-
Stroud, Trevor Lawrence,
Young
Will
coaches,
Levis.
young QBs.
Yes, dude. It's just, and I'm telling you, bro.
fun.
Here's the exciting thing. If you're a Tennessee Titans fan watching this podcast right now, let me get you pumped up a little bit. The last 10 years of your life, you've been seeing ground and pound. Please God, let Derrick Henry break one, and we're gonna out defense these guys. Essentially, this is football of the 90s. We are now transitioning into high flying air raid, put points on the board. We're gonna score more points than you. That's what the Titans are gonna try to be this year.
I'm excited.
Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins. Hope to God. Who's the kid that we drafted? And Traylon Burks. Hope to God he has a year. Pray for it. I'm still gonna sing Kyle Phillips's praises. If he can stay healthy, the kid's got talent. You got Chig, and then you have an offensive line that you're building together. You just paid a center $50 million. You got yourself a left tackle. NFP is getting to his third year. He's coming off injury, but his third year. You drafted a guy in the first round at left guard. You have the tools on offense to be successful. You take a kid that dude from Texas. What's his name?
Devondre Sweat.
Devondre Sweat. Tavondre Sweat.
Yeah.
Outland Trophy winner. He literally says himself, if I can lose weight, I'll be a Hall of Famer. That's terrifying, by the way, if you're a Titans fan. You just need this guy. If you know your only issue to not make it to the Hall of Fame is something that you control, brother, you got to get your shit together then and make sure you get that done.
Harold.
Then with Jeff, and I think as much as Jeff and I have had our disagreements and my opinions about Jeff is going to bully this Sweat kid into being in shape. I've seen him do it with other defensive linemen. He's going to hold him to a standard, and that kid's going to have a good first year, I believe.
Yeah.
So you got Snead too from the Chiefs, who was all pro last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Titans got a squad. I'm keeping them at 2. I'm keeping them at 2.
I'll put it like
tight
this.
for 1.
You're right. You never know. Like, you don't know how the season's going to shake up. I wouldn't be surprised based on the coaching staff that they have and some of the young talent. But I think the Houston Texans, bro, are absolutely loaded. And not to mention, they got 2 of the Titans' best defensive players last year.
Yeah.
What is it? It's Al Shahir, right?
Al Shahir and Danico Autry. Who is maybe the sleepiest guy in the league that people sleep on constantly.
Yeah, bro.
He's nasty. Nasty,
Houston's got a squad. Let's talk about some Nutrafol.
Let's do it, dude.
Hair thinning is complicated.
It
Trust
is.
me, your boy knows. The problem is it's actually much bigger than your hair alone. Like your skin, hair is a reflection of your health, and internal factors can impact the way your hair looks, feels, and grows. Nutrafol's whole body approach multi-targets underlying root causes like stress, hormone fluctuations, and nutrient gaps for visibly thicker, stronger hair. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding. Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. It's a physician formulated with drug-free ingredients. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism. With Nutrafol, building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online. No prescription or doctor visits necessary. There's free shipping and automated deliveries that'll ensure you never miss a day. See results within 3 to 6 months. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code BUSSIN. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BUSSIN. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code BUSSIN.
I want to just tell the viewers you're welcome that Will Compton read that ad just now. You saved us 15 minutes.
Why you say that?
Because if I read that thing, brother, there's some big words in there.
I'll tell you this.
When Jack highlighted it, my heart rate spiked to 140 because I was like, how do you even pronounce what that is?
The beautiful thing about reading that ad is I've been taking Nutrafol. And I did take
Have you really?
I did take the hat off, and I'm moving my hair a little bit because, and I do feel like it works.
I love that.
What do you think? What do you think about my hairline?
I think pull it back.
Don't do this to me.
Okay, then I won't. Don't do it then. Don't do it. If it makes you uncomfortable. You got some peaks.
I do got some peaks. However, I feel like I've had some peaks for a long time.
So you feel good about it?
I do.
If you feel good about it, then I feel good about it. Because the way you wear your hair, I would not walk past you and be like, that cat's balding.
Because think about it too, like hats are not good for pulling on your helmets. We've had
Alan
helmets.
said that
like
too.
I'm mid-30s now, bro.
I know. They say I'm gonna literally pop a stat out of my ass that may or may not be true, but I heard by 36, if you haven't started, it won't happen.
So I got a couple years.
Got a couple of years.
Really, a year and a half.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think. If you
Nutrafol.
If you have a deal where we got to have a conversation, do you want me to have that conversation with you? Because I'm trying to. It's a hairy situation.
Yeah, but I need it to be a group. I don't need it to be like I need to know that it's multiple people feeling this way.
Right.
Because I feel like I have a very heightened sense of awareness when it comes to my hairline.
It's an insecurity.
To know, yeah, absolutely. To know if like my shit's going bad or not.
Yeah.
Would you get the plugs ever?
I don't think nothing's off the table.
You go to
know what I mean?
Turkey.
Yeah, dude.
They say it's like 10 grand. They put you on the first class flight. You come back, it's like 10 other guys doing the same thing.
There's more than 10. You seen those?
Yeah,
those
those
clips.
videos.
Dudes just having the cul-de-sac with bandages on top of their head, all flying back. Here's the thing.
None's off the table.
That is, if that becomes an option for you, I say do it, 100%.
Yeah, none's off the table.
Got you.
There could be a moment like you never
we're
know.
done.
Maybe I could be a shaved head kind of guy.
How's the shape of your head?
I don't know.
You can't really tell with hair.
You can't really tell.
I had my head shaved for my rookie year because they gave me a rookie haircut where they just kept like this part right here and then shaved all of this and kind of moved it around. It was really fucked up. Wearing a hat looked fine, but then I had to shave it after the 4th preseason game. I just don't got a good shaved head.
You did kind of look.
Yeah, I look racist.
Yeah.
You see me? I look like I'm a.
But
Klan
you ain't
member
got
in that.
nothing to worry about.
Yeah, yeah. I do. It is a worry of mine still, though.
Oh, that's a fake.
I appreciate that.
That's a fake imaginary worry.
It is, yes. But you see cats, and you just wonder, hey, if that happens to me, I hope that doesn't happen to me. Literally every time I sit down with Alan, our barber, I go, brother, you got to tell me.
Like your head of hair, your head of hair is so nice that when you say comments like that,
It pisses, yeah.
no, everybody around you, whoever you tell that to, just know they might not tell you, but it's like, okay, guy.
Yeah.
People turn the YouTube off.
Yeah.
People,
we just lost
show.
viewers. People are like, this
Yeah.
motherfucker, dude.
I get it. I'm lucky. I'm extremely.
Yeah.
My dad. Can you pull up a picture of Dave?
Of Dave Luan.
See if you can pull up Dave Luan. Because everyone says it's always the mother's dad. My mom's dad is bald as can be. Shout out Bud.
Yeah,
Still
your
kicking
dad
this
is
day.
definitely your future.
Yeah, he and I have the same kind of hair.
And build. You'll be wearing those
Sleeveless shirts.
compression shorts under the under the shorts.
Yeah.
Where the bottom of the compression shorts don't grab your leg all the way.
Dave he's just gotta do more legs, man.
I don't know if there's.
No Dave Luan on Google.
No Dave Luan on Google. Damn, Dave. Dave watches this show too. It's gonna hurt for him to hear this.
But I think he'll be sitting there agreeing. Like you guys have the same build.
Yeah.
Biceps,
My
upper body, lower body, hair.
yeah. We do look very similar. Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting too? And I can't wait.
He's
to
a
see,
good looking old guy.
Right. I can't wait to see this with our kids. Is when I was younger, everyone was like, "Oh, you look like your mom. You don't look anything like your dad." And as I've gotten older, everyone's like, "You and your dad are the exact same person."
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see with my kids. Hopefully, they look like their mom the entire way. Like we just keep going.
Willow's you, bro. Yeah, bring up Taylor the draft day photo, where you're standing there, the combine.
Oh, the combine photo.
Willow.
All right, don't be disrespectful,
That's not disrespectful, bro. She looks like her dad.
Bro,
Who
first
looks
off,
like her dad?
This photo, the comment section is hilarious. Someone said, "Dude looks like SpongeBob, flat in the front, flat in the back."
Your combine photo? Or...
My combine
It was
photo's
on
my Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bro, it is so fucking funny. Low key though, when I saw that photo, I knew there was gonna be chirps, but I thought, yo, you look kind of jacked, bro. You look fucking
You
big
got
ass
some
cat.
thickness on you.
That meat,
Meaty
Yo,
back.
bro, meaty boy.
We've lost internet.
We've lost internet. Anyway, I know Mitch will do a great job of popping up that photo though,
Yeah,
but
throw the visuals. Up
it
there,
is
Mitch.
funny, dude, how my ass is not there and my dick is also not there.
We need to recreate it.
Yeah.
I thought about doing that. I'll put a sock in there big time though.
Brother.
And I know what you're thinking about right now, JP. Don't even go there.
What do you think?
He's thinking about the penis in the bottle comment.
Oh, I wasn't at all.
No.
This one?
Yeah.
Yes, bro. That's a thick boy.
It is a thick boy.
I look lost too.
Shoulders,
I
arms.
look lost as fuck. Tiny legs still. Did my absolute best with them boys too.
It looks like that like that photo of when you're a kid and you go in your mom's room after you threw up. You're just standing in the doorway. Just like, Mom.
Your legs don't look that bad here.
Yeah. Look at that. Not even a bump, dude. It was cold, boy.
That's how it is. That's how it is, though. When you got them strong thighs like that.
That thing just hiding.
Yeah. When you get them thighs touching everything else,
Yeah.
like that's a tough.
God, I miss having strong legs.
That's fucking hilarious.
Bro, that is funny. Get the back in there. Bank.
I mean, it's a solid. That's a.
Oh, yeah, dude. Better times.
Hey, did you see OBJ sign with the Dolphins? He's a Miami boy.
I know. I saw the one thing I did see on that was Jalen Ramsey saying last time they two were both on a team. Super Bowl.
Towards ACL.
Yeah, that's tough, dude. 1 year deal worth $4 million with incentives to push it up to $8.25 million. Man, I really want Beckham to get GBOT.
I know.
I
bro.
want him to so bad.
Dude, I think his I love his work ethic, bro.
Huh?
I feel like the dude, have you listened to him on the pivot? Like the ups and downs he's had with his knees, with surgeries and stuff like that, and still like being a guy at the peak of where he was and still like loving the game and wanting to go play ball, even though he's got a base salary of $3 million up to 8.2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was like he was at the top of the world.
I know. He was number one.
Yeah.
He was essentially Patrick Mahomes. Like that kind of star power.
Yeah.
When he was in his prime. The thing that I just wish he could get back on track for is because every human being I came across that played with him at LSU or played with him in Giants or wherever was like, this dude could be professional at any sport. Soccer, baseball.
Big time athlete.
Big time athlete. Like just has the genetics like that.
Yeah.
And he's just a stud, man.
And I feel like he's just a guy that you start to like root for.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't been that, but you know, when you're at the very tip top and then you have antics on the sidelines and everything else, it's very easy to, to comment on the dramatic shit that he does.
Make him the villain.
Right. But in the last few years, the way he's just kind of came on teams, kept his head down, like he's never really been a distraction like people, like we would have thought he probably could have been. I don't know. I kind of fuck with him.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about him other than like, again, he's signing again. It just seems like the boy loves to play ball.
You painted a really good picture too, because at one point OBJ kind of became the villain. Like he lived long enough to see him become the villain.
Yeah.
And now with the trials and tribulations, and him just fighting the good fight over and over again because he loves the game so much, trying to get back on track, it really makes you root for the guy.
Yeah. Oh well, I just thought of that first class situation. I think that was last year.
No, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think he was.
He was drunk. He was like sleep, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
he
like
was
following
asleep.
the. But yeah, just a
that's
hiccup.
one hiccup.
You
That's
can't
a
judge
hiccup.
people at
Yeah,
their
yeah,
lowest
that's
moments.
nothing.
Yeah,
You let that go.
yeah,
Throw that to the wind. Let the breeze take it. That's over.
yeah. But him, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle.
I know. I just wonder how many balls he's gonna get.
I don't think it's like he puts that much expectation on it.
Which
I
is
think he
cool.
does, but I'm saying I think he's very aware of the situation he's going into.
Yeah.
He knows the strengths of Tyreek Hill, Jalen. Like, you got Coach McDaniels. Like, I'm sure they're going to find creative ways to get everybody the ball, spread the ball around.
Yeah. Tyreek's just a dude you got to feed over and over again. And the thing I wish Tyreek did was hit that 2,000 because he was on pace at one point last year, right?
Yeah.
I wanted him to get that so bad. Dude was crushing it. Should we hit segments?
Shout out, no free shout out.
You want to get that off your chest, huh? You've been trying
Yeah,
to.
I just want to talk shows.
Go ahead, start it
I
up.
just want to talk shows with the boys.
Start it up.
My shout out, no free shout out of the week. First of all, it is brought to you by Sport Clips. Your hair may grow fast, but after going to Sport Clips haircuts, you'll wish it grew even faster. That's because Sport Clips has the best seats in hair. We know that watching sports while getting a haircut sure beats watching your reflection getting a haircut, which is why at Sport Clips, every day is clippers and curveballs, high tops and Hail Marys, and even waves and wickets. At Sport Clips, you can check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. So come watch an endless stream of sports on TV while getting an awesome haircut. Sport Clips, it is a game changer. My shout out, no free shout out this week, is going to go to the boys.
Oh.
and not just The Boys, but The Boys, the TV show.
Oh.
I binged all of Fallout. There's one season. I watched all of Fallout.
Fallout's
Banger show. Awesome show. Fallout, highly recommend. The Boys, I am now in season 2, and I'm into it, bro.
Is this the one where
Wild.
they have superpowers?
It's like
It's
superheroes, but they're like
Devious superheroes.
yeah, they're like bad
Or
guys.
they're like
Some of them
the
are
anti-hero?
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, anti-hero guys are fucking fish.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
It's basically like just assume it's like the X-Men, but the roles are reversed. They're very well accepted in the world. They are the high power. They're like the superior. They're like the billionaires.
Mm.
And they get away with a lot of devious shit. Some stuff that's like, Charo, she's like, should I catch up? I'm like, I don't know if you'd mess with the storyline and the plot, but I don't know if you'd mess with all like the violent and the negative shit that comes with it because
Really?
it's pretty, yeah.
That show, I mean, it'd be so interesting. You think about it all the time, like being a superhero. Like if you found out at one point in your life you were a superhero, how many of us would actually go and fight crime as opposed to just being extremely good at whatever we wanted to be good at?
Yeah.
Like imagine if you had Superman's powers and we were still in the mindset of wanting to play football. You'd just be the best football player of all time.
Yeah. Taylor might be Homelander.
I
Taylor might be Homelander.
That's a.
I was really gonna say that.
What's Homelander? It sounds like it's
He's
not
the
a good
main
deal.
character in the show.
Okay,
He's the
cool.
main- he's
I'll
the
take a
main
main
guy.
character. Don't need to know anything else.
He's basically the Superman of the group.
Oh, cool. And he's probably the guy that
Check
does
it
the
out.
devious shit.
Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
I heard The Boys, the first season, there was like some random shit going on. People were like, I don't know if you want to watch this. Is it?
It's just gory.
And it's like
It's gory,
yeah,
it's sexual in ways you really don't want it to be.
and like
I see what you're saying, Jack.
No, for real.
No,
kids
like,
become orphans.
saying people are fucking fish.
Yeah, kids become orphans a little too frequent, in my opinion.
A little too much for the children. To be
yeah,
like
a
that.
little too much. Like as a parent watching, like, God damn, why do they got to write this type of shit in there?
Yeah.
But it is a good show nonetheless. So that is my shout out, no free shout out.
My shout out, no free shout out, is going to be. It's going to go to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Why is that?
Dude, my kid. So, if anybody who has kids out there goes to their kids' school plays, it's fun for 15 minutes, and then after that, you're like, all right, like this is not top notch acting. I'm watching a Broadway musical by any means, but this year, my kids, the whole school, their school they go to, they did a play, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Both my kids were Oompa Loompas. It was sick too. Wynn had a whole dance routine, everything we used to practice on, and I just loved that book growing up. It was my favorite book growing up. I loved the movie. I loved the movie Wonka. And it brought me that I had the whole hour where I was like just feeling levels of nostalgia, being like, dude, this movie was so good coming out. Wonka's so great. And legit, these kids were good at the play. Not good like we're talking, you know what I'm saying? Relative to the age group we're talking about, they did a good job.
Yeah.
Yes, they did a good job. The one kid who was playing Wonka, kid had a good voice. Charlie, that kid had a good voice too. All of them, I think, did a good job of buying into their characters, and I just kind of sat there and smiled to myself like, my childhood was loving this show, and now my kids are playing this show, sitting here as an adult as their kid, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm messing with
I love
that.
that. It's wholesome. It's
Yeah,
a wholesome
it was
shout-out.
wholesome. But shout out the boys too. Gore, rape, and shit like that. That's tight.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
I need to watch that show, but I feel like Taylor would not watch that show.
Yeah, she wouldn't like some parts.
Taylor tried to check me on Spooktober this year, and I was like, dude, don't. She wants to do like more like kid friendly, like we don't need to watch all this, like Delaney, you know how he's in like the super gory shit. She's like, we don't need.
Yeah,
to
she's
have
like,
that.
hey, we got a 6 and a 3-year-old. Like, let's.
Yeah, we don't need
embrace
to
the
have
spook
that
a
in the
different way.
house. Like it's bad. Like every Spooktober seems like something goes wrong in the Lewan household.
Yeah.
Both of my surgeries were in Spooktober. Like it's a tough time. But I'm trudging through that mud every single year. I'm going to fight it.
Yeah.
But she wants to do like less like horror films. She says you can watch the slashers and all that, but all this paranormal shit you got to stop watching. I told her no.
Yeah.
I said
you'll
actually,
watch it
Mitch,
on your own.
Mitch, I said no. We're not gonna do that.
Boys, any shout outs in the back?
I'll go.
Joe Key West.
Mine's with Key West, but it's going to the reason I was there. I'm shouting out Thomas Edwards, my very talented musician friend. He released a new song called Old Crowd that is out now on all platforms. And this isn't just some shameless plug. It's a really good fucking song. the song embodies what this bus is. It's about your old friends just hanging out with the crew. It's just the boys, you know, the boys, the girls, whatever. But I'm really proud of him. He's been working really hard. He was the talk of the town at this Songwriters Fest we were at. So shout out to Thomas Edwards. Shout out to everyone who made Key West fun. It's just fun to kind of get out of town for a little bit, get some vitamin D, listen to some good music, and yeah, just, you know, love my friends. Always do. So shout out Tom. Old crowd. Stream it now.
I'll stick along the same line, sort of. Shout out Living With Your Boys. I just moved into a new house, and there's 3 of us that will stay there, but one guy who's still like in limbo, and he's moving out. But you're just never bored. You can always just go annoy somebody. You can always just go hang out with somebody. And this is the most, since college, the most amount of people I've lived with, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's gonna be a good time. So shout out Living With Your Boys.
That's a good shout out, dude.
Living with boys.
Shout out getting no hose.
You get bored, you go sit at the edge of their bed, like, hey, what are you doing today?
Kick your feet up.
Yeah.
How's your day? Mine's kind of similar to the boys theme we have going on, but it is the one friend in the friend group or 2 that are the grill guys. Whenever you're on like a big group trip, they're always ready to cook up some nice food. Our guys are Carter and Danny. They cooked up some bratwurst, some hot dogs. Easy things to cook up, but their range is unlimited when it comes to food. So shout out to the guys that take on the task of cooking dinner for everyone.
Hell yeah.
Solid. Solid one.
What else do we have before we get into we got Twisted Question?
Yeah.
We got some dad moments. Do we want to do Twisted Question? We want to talk.
Let's do Twisted Question, dude.
Okay.
Let's do Twisted. Twisted Tea is a refreshing hard iced tea made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol, full of flavor and very refreshing. Twisted Tea goes down smooth. There is no carbonation. Makes it easy to drink all day long and also chug. It makes it way easier to chug. Twisted Tea feels fun and celebrates extreme fandom on game day. It's the perfect alcohol for game day, whether tailgating in a parking lot, watching at a bar, or watching with friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to turn up your game day. Keep it twisted and grab a refreshing Twisted Tea today. The Twisted Question this week comes to you from Mitch, who comes to you from
Daniel Dulac
on
Instagram.
All right.
This one's a bit of a mouthful, but I think it's a good one.
I'm sure you'll handle it just fine like you always do.
You have 24 hours to complete the following 4 activities: run a mile, eat a donut, drink a beer, and jerk off. The catch is you have to do each of these activities in increments of 6, 12, 18, and 24. So, example, run 6 miles, eat 12 donuts, drink 18 beers, and jerk off 24 times in 24 hours. What are you doing for each number?
I'm gonna have to put the miles at 6. I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna eat 24 donuts. I'm gonna drink. Was it 6, 12? 18. I'll drink 18 beers. I'm gonna jerk off 12 times.
Fuck, man, that's tough. I think you got to go 24 donuts.
Have to.
And it's what, beers, jerk off, and miles?
Yep.
You have to run the miles?
I think I'll go...
Run a mile.
Run. You can't walk it.
No.
Okay.
I think I'll go 18 beers,
okay,
12 miles, and jerk off 6 times.
You ain't running 12 miles, bro.
Bro, over 24 hours? A mile?
It's
a mile every 2 hours? Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you're doing that.
I think
But
it's
I'm saying
harder
that
to
it's very-
run. I mean, it's harder to jerk off 12 times in a day than it is to run 12 miles.
Yeah, yeah.
think so?
1,000%.
100%.
Bro, jerk off 12 times
Jerk
in
off
one day?
once and think if you're gonna go run after that. It's like, all right.
I think I'm using a good number with the 6. Like,
I think
keep that
that's
one
a
low.
good one.
I was thinking about going.
Really?
I was thinking about going more miles, but if it's in a 24-hour period,
But you're gonna be so tired after that. Refuel with the beer and the donuts.
You're right. I might go. No, I don't know. I think 12.
My max would be at 12 for miles. I wouldn't be able to go farther than that.
I think I would just switch the beers and miles. I would do 18 miles and 12 beers.
I know. That's what I was thinking about too. But 18 miles again.
I mean, that's
24 hours.
A long time. Like, I mean, if you're like really running, you can run a mile in like 7 minutes, but then you're just cooked. But if you slow that down and maybe do like a 10-minute mile, that's what I'm saying.
Like these miles, it's not like they have to be.
Run for an hour, and you got what, 6 miles done.
Yeah.
And then break, and then run for an hour again. You got another 6 miles done.
Just zone 2 it up for 12 miles. Not for 12 miles straight. I'm breaking them up, but yeah I think.
I'm gonna straight.
Yeah, JP probably could. I mean, JP was.
I'm not in any cardio shape, but like my roommate, he just ran a half marathon, and he trained a little bit, and he kept a higher pace than I would do for it. But he finished in like right at 2 hours, and that was 13.1 or whatever. That's 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like Sitton, she ran a marathon, won her age group, and it was like 3:45 or something.
That's 26.
Right. So you got the whole rest of the day for all these other things.
Right.
Taylor was locked on that 12 one though. That's the only one you didn't have to think of.
Jerk offs?
Yeah.
I think you hit an hour on the hour.
Think about when you get to like 7.
Yeah,
I still have 5 more.
I'm not.
I got
I'm thinking about
And
my stamina of my wrist and my forearm, and I'm also thinking about how bad my piece is gonna hurt too.
It's gonna
right, bro.
That's gonna be
12
terrible.
times.
Dehydrated, get fluids.
Like, have you ever came 12 times in a day?
No, I think my max. I was a nasty little 13-year-old. I maybe 6, but I think I'm floating those numbers pretty high.
Yeah.
At the end, 6 is just like dust coming out.
Yeah.
Like, I know for sure 4.
Just coughing.
Maybe 5.
Just a little.
And that's back in your horniest days of all time.
What time?
I said I know for sure 4. Maybe there was a 5th time in there at some point, but I don't know.
Think my numbers are inflated. I think I'm 4 or 5 as well.
And again, that's back in your horniest times, bro.
All right, I'll go. Listen, I'll go 6 jerk offs.
You had your number.
I'll go 12 miles. I can't
you got to
change it
jerk
now.
off 12. Yeah, you got to jerk off 12 times.
That was the fantasy football punishment for one of my buddies. His name's Connor.
Jerking off?
But they took the jerk off out, but it was just 12, 18, 24 for donuts, beers, and miles. And they had a day party on a Saturday, and he brought a treadmill, and he played baseball at the Navy, and he was like, fuck it. And he literally did a full marathon on the treadmill at this party, 24 donuts and then 24 beers. He didn't have to do it, but you know.
War Daddy.
When a challenge comes your way,
have to do it.
Answer the bell and then some. I bet he got a lot of respect from the boys.
Oh yeah, and
24. We should do something like that one day.
You're gonna plan it, and then it's gonna come down to it, and you're like, I don't want to do it.
Me?
More so looking at Will, but
what have I planned and not want to do?
no, it's just I feel like we have these ideas. Like, let's go.
Usually I'm more of a start at no, let's get to yes.
Let me,
in any of our ideas.
Will's a start at no, get to yes. I'm a yes, immediately go to no.
Yeah, so like one of you is gonna end up not doing it. I think we should do it.
If you were like, we're doing this tomorrow, I'd be like, all right. But if you're like, we're doing this in 3 months, I would be more likely to say no as opposed to it being flipped for me and Will.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of the combine?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, what is Mitch thinking of? But it's 1,000% the combine.
Yes.
Did you do the bench press?
He wasn't in Miami with us.
I know, but have you done that?
Yeah, I did it at home.
What was it?
I got 31.
I expected more.
I expected more too.
It's crazy how it just creeps that weight creeps up on you
out of nowhere.
I didn't have a spotter though, so I don't know if I could have gotten 1 or 2 more, but I was just down there by myself, and I didn't want to just kill myself.
That is an underrated thing, is when you have somebody to lift the weight for you to get you in position.
And then they're also just like motivating you a little bit. Like, come on, like, let's go. I just put on some hardcore EDM and just ripped it.
Oh shit, dead mouse.
Yeah. I apologize. We do got to get the stuff set up at Boost so you can run your combine.
Just let Mitch do it.
I know he wants to so bad.
Well, no, it's a thing that like
Because
Jack-
you're right.
Jack and I have gone back and forth like who's the most athletic on the bus, and we've all been on 2 dimes, and everybody's list is different.
Are y'all still going on 2 dimes?
Yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
2 times. About that list. I feel like
Hey,
who's the first one to go? Was that you, Jack?
Guys, figure out who's the most athletic.
It's not the
Maybe out of the back of the bus.
Please say it.
Bro, ain't none of y'all more athletic than me.
You don't think so?
No.
They're younger, dude.
Younger, more spry.
You have a
jerk
back
off
thing?
bunch.
You got a back thing?
Oh, that's the thing. Oh, I got it.
Will's running about 900 testosterone right now, though.
How
He's
about
up
their
there.
peak like 1,000?
Yeah.
Is it dropped?
Oh, I don't know.
say-
I haven't tested in since that last time where I was floating some good numbers. I
I just got my blood done Wednesday last week. I'm excited to see those numbies.
It truly all depends what we're trying to clarify is like what an athlete is. Because it's like we it's like we could run through the same combine that I have film on out there. Because your bench already didn't get it, but to me, bench is not like.
But you can. There's like we did something in college like a pound for pound. So you're 15, 20 more pounds than I am. So you're gonna have more. Like you're gonna be able to bench more, but I might be able to run faster. And like
You might, or we can find that out.
yeah, we can.
I mean, there's a road
You
right
just-
outside.
You just been ducking it.
There's a road.
Concrete everywhere.
No,
I mean,
last time I ran on the concrete.
Will's got
my-
something
my
that y'all
knees
don't
did
have, and that's a
swell
win
up.
against the black guy. He beat Delaney in that race.
You did.
I was also filming it. Running side by side.
That is fucking funny.
Jack was saying that too. He's like, yeah, I was running backwards.
Little karaoke shuffle.
We'll get it going.
Who would you rank the boys in the back?
Most athletic? Again, we truly, I do think there are different definitions and different kind of like.
All right, classic definition of.
Are we
change-
talking
change
testing?
direction, jump, speed?
So we're testing.
Yeah. Because I agree with what
I
you're
would
saying.
guess. I would guess Jack.
If we're doing like,
If we're talking change of
that,
direction-
I was gonna say Mitch. But if we do it athletic in terms of like how many sports you were able to hold like your own weight in, that is where I feel like I would have a better chance. But there's only one way to find out.
There isn't.
I suck at basketball. I can't.
White.
But anything else.
Play defense. Play defense and get boards.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean that's a
Wow.
role. That's
No
a role.
easy buckets.
I can jump. I can get the rebounds, and I played good D.
You won't get your team beat.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be scoring a lot of points, but
JP, are you quick? Like change of direction? Do you feel confident in your ability against them?
I feel confident. I would also probably say Mitch as far as testing goes. And
Yeah.
then like Jack is saying, I feel more confident that I'm good at a lot of sports, can play a lot of sports. I don't have golf though.
Golf stuff.
Yeah, but golf's the worst.
Yeah, but he,
JP,
I mean, he
we're
grew
talking
up.
swimming.
I grew up in the pool, bro.
He was on the dive team, which
Get me on that board.
I didn't have access to that.
So who would you rank?
we're forgetting about G and Seabird over there too.
I feel like Coop. I feel like Coop finds himself middle upper pack.
Yeah.
He might be shifty.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. I if I had to place odds on it, I would say I would go. If we're going sports category, Jack. Are you any good at baseball, Mitch?
He played high school. Was going to play college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, recruited to play both in college.
Jack, Mitch, JP, Garrett, Coop.
I think you're off. I think you're not giving enough credit to Garrett. Everything we've seen Garrett do, he's relatively good at it. Like the way JP is saying, like you can play most sports. Every sport we've done with Garrett, his hand-eye coordination's great.
Yeah.
He can throw a baseball. He can play golf really well. I think you're sleeping on G a little bit. I think he's top 3.
I think G is very skilled.
I don't think G would test well, but
I don't think he tests well. But
No.
we're talking about sports.
But I want cats who have range in every sport that we're playing. Like if we're playing baseball, I need you to play the outfield and cover ground. Like like, yeah, I'm sure G could be a good pitcher. I think G's very skilled. But as far as like some of those, just the athletic stuff of running and moving and changing direction, that's why I value that type of stuff more than being in place.
There's got to be a test we can do for all that.
Yeah.
There's a scale that comes
anybody
out
owns
about
a
the
just
small
combine.
every
business-
sport.
If you own a small business that tests all these things, please
Please let us know.
reach out.
Yeah.
There's like have you heard of RAS? Relative Athletic.
Yeah,
Something?
yeah.
They come out after the combine. They have like height, weight, measurement stuff that you can look up
They try to like
that measure your your number.
your relative athleticism.
Yeah, relative athleticism. Kind of what we're talking about. Relative athleticism. If you want a benchmark, I'm the only player in the last 20 years to score a perfect 10. But if you guys, there's something to go off of if you guys want.
You're a great athlete. You're an elite level athlete.
Was. Not anymore. I just don't think my shoulder, you saw me throwing that pitch. My knee, I can't really run like that. Can't change direction like that anymore. I've gotten a lot weaker. I just don't think I'm holding to these young spry cats anymore. These young bulls.
Yeah, they are some young bulls, man.
But I think you're up there with them.
You wouldn't give me the nod over them?
I think you would. Here's where I think if it really came down to an actual combine, you're beating all of them handedly. But I think for the next 2 weeks, they're coming to work and they feel fine, and you're dead.
Yeah, but we're talking about
One
performing.
time.
Yeah, we're showing up.
Yeah, then I think I give you the edge. Because I don't know if you remember back at the Vanderbilt when you were pretty good at that change of direction thing that you wanted to tell me about. Pretty solid at the change of direction. That was the funniest
that is funny
flex I've
looking
ever
back
heard.
on, dude.
But yeah. I would put you at the top.
Before we wrap up, the streets are saying that Tier Talk might need to make a comeback.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Just to float that out there.
Some tier talk. Our
We
tier talk
kinda
this
did
week
it.
could have been our Barstool.
Yeah, we kind of did your talk today.
You got any dad moments? Flip the girl dad hat around.
Let me put a hat on. I would say my dad moment of the week.
Just anything.
Dude, yeah. I got a dad moment. There was a very cool clip on our Nanit that Talon showed me when she was putting Win down. And Win, for those of you who have ever met Win, is the most kind-hearted, like truly, like she's such a special soul. She cares about other people. She's worried about other people's feelings. Like the kid just came out of the womb outstanding. She's a lot like her mom. And Talon was putting her to sleep, and Win just starts going, saying how great of a mom she is. She's the best mom that she could possibly have. And they start talking about parents and stuff like that. And then Win said to Talon, she's like, I love how you make people feel good. And Talon's like, how do you know that I make people feel good? She's like, well, I've seen you do it. And she starts going over examples of times that Talon made people feel good. And to me, watching a 6-year-old have that kind of dialogue with her mother, she was like years above, like she was acting like she was 50, 60 years old with this wealth of knowledge. And I thought that to me was a very cool moment to watch a mother. and daughter
Good
go through.
awareness to see out of a 6-year-old.
Yeah, crazy awareness to see out of a 6-year-old. Now she drives me crazy sometimes because with all that beautiful emotion comes the other side where everything's the biggest deal in the world. And that's difficult for me because we're not just going to get out of here without complaining a little bit about our kids, right, folks? We got to bitch a little bit, but I think that was a very special moment.
I love that.
Yeah.
I almost felt a little twinkle in my nose.
I know. I was when I was walking through it.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough.
Yeah. A little shout out to Rue. We have this book called Old Hat, New Hat. And her memory is, I think, special.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I could just be a biased father thinking that
You are.
she's got some crazy memory, but she can recite the entire book
Yeah.
after a few times of reading through it. Like I just think she's got a little something to her. Now, when we were at State Golden the other day, and she made a little friend, and Rue does this thing where she has to hug and kiss everything, like hug, kiss. Even the boys last week, she was like hug, and then you hear her kind of say kiss, and there's kind of this awkward moment of like, I wonder what the boys are gonna do here. Steven kissed her, and JP just leaned up with the cheek because she kind of just sits there. But she made this friend at State Golden, and the family was leaving. And we're like, Rue, you gotta say bye. She's like, hug. And she like comes over, and the little girl, I think she was 4. She like gives Rue a hug, and Rue like hugs in, and then you just hear Rue like under her breath go, kiss. And I'm standing there, and this girl grabs her face and leans in. They both, you know how kids just kind of sit there. They don't like know
They'll
how
pucker.
to like, they don't pucker or nothing. And she like grabbed her face and was going in, and it was slow enough to where I'm sitting there. I started laughing. I was like, all right, hey. And I'm just thinking like, hey, we got to work on. We're like driving home. We're like, Rue, you want to kiss like people that are family you can't just kiss everybody. You can't just kiss everything because she has to do everything. Like when we're putting her down at night, she tries to negotiate. Like I got to hug and kiss the stairs goodnight. I got to hug and kiss Miss Rachel. That's no longer on the screen, but you got to bring her up on pause so she can like hug, give kisses. So she has to hug and kiss everything. So we got to kind of
We got to work that out.
Yeah. Cause she's starting to get a little loose with like everybody she's kissing.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
You don't want a kissing bandit for a child.
Yeah. She like hugs and then you just hear kiss.
Can we talk about one thing?
Yeah.
Steven kissed your kid?
Yeah.
On the lips?
No, he kissed on the cheek.
Okay.
No, he kissed her on the cheek.
Because
Rue goes, after like I'm holding her and she's like hug and she like leans in and she goes kiss and then she's sideways. So I'm kind of sitting there like, how's this going to go down? Because I know it's awkward for the guy.
Right.
She did with JP and JP just kind of leaned and she just like put her face on JP's cheek. Because I'm thinking like, I wonder if JP's going to kiss her. Because I know that's like awkward. But and also just throw a little shout out to myself. 0 text to the wife about how to handle things with Rue in the last 9 days. I feel like that is a stat that is going to go, not recognized or talked about. I'm just going to throw myself some flowers there. 0 text. That was one thing Charles said. She was like, you had 0 text to me. Because she talked about how her and the wives are kind of like talking out, like, oh, it's kind of nice that the husbands aren't like texting us about like what to do. And I'm like, oh yeah, you got a good little deal back home.
That scoreboard is filthy for you right
filthy,
now.
bro. Yes. She came in kind of like, what did she do? She was like, she asked about like the mail, like, oh, I didn't like see something in the mail. By the way, I saw all of our cards, the credit cards for Bussin. And I'm thinking like, okay, you noticed that I might not have checked the mail, but you didn't notice that the little seat corner area over there, no more boxes, all the boxes gone in the garage. I just start listing everything. And she's like, yeah, you did awesome. Like, do you want like a
Are you married to Mike Vrabel?
She's like, do you want like a celebration for
you're married
holding
to Mike
down
Vrabel.
the house? Yeah. I was like, I mean, I guess when you put it that way, I am doing my job, but either way, your boy's intentional. Your boy's starting to come around.
See the way you just
I'm thinking to myself, like, unfortunately, like I catch myself throughout the week where I was like, oh, I'm going to like leave food out. I'm going to do other things. But I caught myself like cleaning up and doing all that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, God damn it. Like I have been a little trained and domesticated. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, I guess I am just doing my job. But fuck, like your boy's getting better. Yeah. Your boy's being solid.
Appreciate the progress.
Yeah. Like massive progress.
Massive.
But yeah,
the way you painted
I guess that is
picture,
the standard. That is the standard. Yeah.
The way you painted the picture of Charles, I just see her coming home from France and putting her bag down, and then immediately just saying hi to Rue real quick, and then looking all over the house,
just scouting the house.
What you fucked up. I noticed you didn't get the mail. Check that before I came in the house.
Yeah, she's like, "Did you happen to see this?" I was like, "Oh no, I guess I didn't check the mail once throughout the week." But
that's
nonetheless some solid dad memories, some very good core memories of Rue.
And here's the thing about Bussin' with the Boys, folks. If you are still somehow with us, I see you dealing with Rue and getting the scoreboard up this weekend. In my head, I had you and Rue in my head being like, I got to get my scoreboard up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So kids came in the room. I got up with them in the morning, made breakfast, like did all the things, let Talon sleep in. And I know on this Monday, I'm feeling good about my scoreboard.
I love that.
I'm feeling good about it.
We need more dads. We need more dads showing up.
Because listen, moms do a lot too. But I feel like dads are underappreciated in the parent category.
This is where it gets a little slippery.
I know.
Moms do a little bit too. Moms do
Moms do the most. We get it.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. Moms are number one. However, I think dads are underrated on how much they do.
Can be.
It can be. I'm not saying every dad's a good dad, but I see.
Dads have feelings. Dads have things going on and struggles in their own lives with parenthood as well.
I see the dads I surround myself with, and I appreciate the dads I have around me.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
they do a lot. I can't speak for every dad out there.
Surround yourself with good dads.
No question.
Speaking
Boys,
of dads,
yeah, our girl dad merch drops on Wednesday, which is tomorrow for those of you listening, for Father's Day. That is right around the corner. That's our day. Your goal is to get your scoreboard up as much as possible by Father's Day so you could fuck off for the entire day.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. because you're setting the tone before and you're taking that entire day to yourself to do whatever you want. One thing, your wife can get this for you, but go and get yourself a Girl Dad merch at store.barstoolsports.com. Should we get to this episode with Tyler Hubbard?
Yeah.
Let's jump right in, folks.
Let's dive right in.
Have a great day. We'll talk to you guys later.
Awesome.
We interrupt this episode to bring you Hustle Butter. Hustle Butter has you and your tattoos covered today, tomorrow, forever, so your tattoos can look and feel the best for life. Hustle Butter will keep your tattoos moisturized so they always look and feel fresh. Keeps new artwork looking bright and rejuvenated, and rejuvenates old tattoos. Hustle Butter products were designed for full tattoo process, before tattooing, in process, as aftercare, and forever after. Hustle Butter was created in a partnership with artists for artists, which is why we are the #1 artist recommended brand globally. Born in New York City in 2012, been on the market for 12 years, and is loved by artists and clients around the world. Hustle Butter has a natural derived ingredients, is certified vegan, I don't know why that matters, and cruelty free, and is, what is that word?
Petroleum free.
Petroleum free. Hustle Butter is also a dermatologist tested, clinically tested, and products all have a non-irritating formula. At Hustle Butter, real never fades. Real never fades. Buy now. Hustle Butter. Listen, you look at my right arm. I've had this for about 10 years. Little fade. New boys. You had these within the last month. You can see the difference. With Hustle Butter, you get this look forever. Let's get back to the episode.
Hey, welcome to the bus, man.
Yeah.
It's good to finally have you on.
Yeah, man. It feels good to be
I
here.
feel like it's been a few years running now where it's been like, hey, you gonna come on? Yeah, man, I'll come on. You get me on whenever,
Say
brother.
when, bro.
Yeah. Go get after it.
Feels good to be here,
What's
man.
your first vibe of the bus? Like, how do you feel about when you walk in
I
here?
want to go camping in this bad boy.
Yeah?
I want to spend some more time in this thing.
This thing
Feels
is
good.
This thing is one of those deals, man, where you kind of just get in it and it just completely puts you in a different mood.
Yeah.
You get this.
It's a
Lucy's?
vibe.
No, that's a
That was it.
sub brand. Is that
Oh,
mango?
they're gone. I bet they're here. I think they're
Mango.
Don't worry about it. I got this whole can right here. What a way to start. No, those are the mango ones. I want the espresso ones. You ever do Lucy? Do you do nicotine at all? You ever try these?
Zennies?
No, they're Lucy's.
I can't. You got.
Yeah.
So how you like that first taste? Yeah. Like a latte,
Candy,
man.
bro. That's a latte.
Yeah, that thing is
Latte in the
nice.
lip,
They
baby.
got
Let's
these little
go.
breakers in them too, dude. You just pop them and it makes the flavor that much better.
You kidding me?
You bite
Mhm.
down on it. You should feel like a little ball in there burst, like a little orgasm in your mouth, like a little orgasm in your mouth.
Like a
little
little
bit of a
Camel
deal.
Crush, 2024.
Do those Camel Crushes and then Camel Snooze as well. You ever do those?
No,
They were like little tiny, like
Oh, I
oval
had-
pin. Like
but they have a popper in it too.
no, there's no popper in it, but it had
I
the
just got an
same kind of
extra.
thing a Camel Crush had. Camel Crushes, 18 to 23 years old. You had a little festival or something like that.
Vibe.
Yeah, it took all the pain out of the lungs. You ever
Yes, it
smoke any of
did.
those?
No,
Oh,
no,
bro,
no.
those things are where it's at.
Lucy's the first. I mean, the pouches was like the first time I experienced nicotine.
Yeah, you never smoked a cigarette or nothing.
Mm-mm.
What's your drug life like?
Yo, my drug life.
Just have
Pretty
you-
clean marijuana these days.
yeah.
It's pretty
The
marijuana
California
based.
diet.
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Yeah.
I hadn't drank in 3 months.
For real?
Yeah.
What was there? Was there a reason for that, or you kind of just like, I just kind of
I
want to
just
get away
went
from
hard
it?
for a while, and then I was like, I just feel like I need to take a break.
Yeah.
And then so I took a break, and now I'm just like, oh, I feel pretty awesome. So I'm
Is that
just
because of the road?
actually that was just because I was on vacation and I was just going ham, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I need a break, and that was in like the beginning of December. So yeah,
And so
bro,
you just been kicking it off since middle of December, even through the holiday season.
Yeah, everything, birthday,
All of it.
Cabo trip,
Just
the
getting
whole
after
deal.
it. Anytime you're in Cabo too, like you get towards Mango Deck or you get something like Squid Row in those areas, you're like, I can't not drink.
can't not drink.
This is not a place for me not to but to be
Right.
sober is a ridiculous concept.
Right.
In
No,
Cabo
it's
San
been
Lucas.
good though, man. I'm like, I don't know if I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna drink anymore,
yeah.
but it's just nice to like feel pretty awesome.
It's interesting, like what's super wild to me is like playing sports, drinking before your activity, whatever your thing is like a total faux pas. But like in your world, it seems like a couple drinks before you even go on.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like the norm,
Norm.
things to do.
Oh yeah, that's been my norm for 12 years. Yeah.
Really? You have a couple, like take out the jitters a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you still get nervous 12 years later?
Nervous, maybe not, but the excited butterfly feeling a bit still. You know what I mean? Where you're a little bit just like, I don't know if anxious is the word, just excited a little bit. So you got to get out there and kind of like calm it down.
What's your like? You ever watch the show
Catch my
Entourage?
breath. Yeah.
So like Johnny Drama, he would do the awooga before he did anything. Do you have like anything you do to like reset yourself? Like, all right, T Hub's about to get out here.
Because what happens is like your adrenaline gets going, and it gets harder to your breath. You know, your heart rate goes up, your lung capacity seems to go down. And so which is you need every bit of lung capacity to sing while you're like running around the stage. So it's really about taking some deep breaths and trying to just like make sure you're at least calm enough to be able to. My songs literally have no room for breathing, so it's basically a lung workout the whole show. So that's sort of what
So you got to really strategize how
I'm
you're going to go about
on a
the
bit.
stage the whole
Yeah,
time.
like if I start to feel like, man, I'm really struggling, I'm sucking air right now, I'll just like get my guitar and stand in front of the mic and sing a song or two to kind of like
calm it down.
Get back to neutral.
Yeah.
You still get just as excited going out on stage because you've been doing it for like over 2 decades, yeah?
About 12 years total, like as a professional.
2 decades. He'd been like 12 out there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
You've been
I've been 17. I'm getting on up there, I guess now. But
you've been in the spotlight for
a
all
little
12
while.
of those years.
Yeah, for sure. And it's still fun. Yeah, I still get like I still get the same rush, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
What's the process like when you're sitting there and like you're back starting out and you're kind of playing clubs, people aren't really listening, and you're like, man, is this really going to be it? To now you're doing theaters, now you're doing Bridgestone and all these like touring all over the world type stuff. Like, how was that transition dealing with that type of fame?
Oh man, good question, bro. It's what we
Appreciate that.
I would say it can be difficult for sure. It's important to have, for me, it was important to have some support around me. You know, I also met my wife fairly early on, which was very grounding for me, and she kept me very grounded. And I have some really good friends that I could that remain constant and was kind of grounding. But it's definitely a journey. It's a ride, and if you're not careful, all the typical things you think that can kind of take control will. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's ego, whether it's insecurity, whether it's a substance, whether it's just even for me, like my biggest struggle is like overworking or like being a workaholic, I'd say, you know, like having balance, life, work balance and all that. It's a constant setting the intention and trying to stick with it and then checking yourself and making sure, all right, and this week balanced? Is my next week balanced? So it's like, you know, I wear several different hats between artist, songwriter, husband, dad, and friend at times, you know. So I'm like, all right, is my week balanced in that way? So
is Haley like a big piece of that, making sure you're balanced?
Yeah, she is. Yep. Because we're both trying to maintain that a bit, you know. Like when you got 3 kids, sometimes it can just be all about the kids, and you realize, oh, my marriage is a little bit off right now, or we haven't invested in our marriage in the last few weeks. We need to spend some time doing that, or I hadn't written a song in a couple weeks, so I need to go write some this week. But yes, like I said, I just feel like I'm constantly looking at my calendar and saying, all right, is it fairly balanced?
Am I pouring into each bucket correctly? It's like, oh, okay, I'm not
Right.
necessarily pouring into the marriage aspect. Oh man, maybe I haven't been home around the kids. Oh, maybe I'm not being in the studio as much. Yeah,
Right.
it seems like you got to juggle a lot of those different things.
You have to be intentional for sure. Yep.
And
What was your,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, what was your insecurity when you were coming up? Say before you met your wife, like you're exploding on the scene. Because you're right, it's almost like you can go down any road you want to when you're becoming like a superstar. Like
Now
you
that you
can
mention
drink, you
it.
can do all the different things. You can. There's women. There's a status. It's okay. Am I gonna be at this award show? Like, am I the man? Like, what was
Do I
your
want to
insecurity
surround
coming
myself
up?
with yes people or people that
Yeah.
I know are going to take care, right? I mean, there's all those decisions along the way that you kind of have to make, even if it's subconsciously. I would say one of my biggest fears though was like being, because you hear all the stories, you know what I'm saying? You hear the downfall of all the artists. You come up hearing about, you know, your icons and becoming alcoholics or dealing with depression or not knowing how to manage or losing your friends in your community and feeling like you're alone, even though from an outside perspective, it looks like you got everything you ever want. But I think that was like my biggest fear. So I was pretty intentional on the way up of being like, all right, I want to have a successful music career, but I also want to have a regular life, and I want to make sure that at the end of this ride, wherever this ride ends, that I'm not just sitting there not knowing what to do, like where to go from there. Like I want to have a family one day. I want to have a healthy relationship with my wife. I want to always be able to have a glass of wine at dinner if I want to, without having to worry about falling off. Right. So it's just, so kind of just staying in check along the way was big, but I think that was a fear of mine, which is also why I was, when I felt myself slipping, or I felt myself headed down a road that I wasn't excited, that I knew was a dead end, I would turn it around or get back on track, or at least attempt to. So, yeah.
You bring up when you bring up yes men, and you say, who do I want to surround myself with? Like, I feel like anybody who's getting into, whether it's music or sports or any sort of entertainment that is in a spotlight, the most difficult thing to navigate is yes men, because no one likes being told you're wrong. But when people say, hey, yeah, you're on the right track, you're doing this, you're doing great at that, it's so easy to fall into like, oh, maybe I am doing better than I thought I was doing, or like taking more of the suggestion of the yes man than the people that are trying to keep you in check, that have your best interests involved. Like, how did you, when you say you were like really conscious about keeping those people out of your life, how do you sniff that out?
Man, I don't know. I think it's a kind of a gut thing. But what happens to me is, like, when I'm around those types of people, I realize that their opinion doesn't really matter much, because they're only telling me what I want to hear. They're not telling me they're not always telling me truth. So like when I could tell that I had a friend or my wife or a manager or somebody in the band that would shoot me straight, it only validated what they would say when it was positive, right? When they're like, that's an awesome song. You're not just telling me that's an awesome song because you want me to feel good. You're telling me that because you're being honest and being truthful, and it means a ton more. So I was just really drawn to the people that would be like, hey, bro, I don't really love that song as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, all right, I can take that because I know you're shooting me straight. And the more success I had, the more valuable those relationships became, for sure.
How close are you able to talk about one of those situations where you did get close? Because you talked about going down different paths and realizing some could be dead ends. Is there a time like in your career where you're like, man, I really almost went off the fucking wagon here?
I mean, I think I got fortunate, and without bringing too much spirituality into it, I definitely feel like God was looking out for me, because there were times where, especially at the beginning, bro, like we were in a van just roughing it and literally just like drinking straight Jack Daniels every night, popping an Adderall so we could drive to the next show. Like, and just kind of getting into that lifestyle. We were just like, man, we're out here grinding, but we're also partying. You're meeting girls that you don't know. You're, that was kind of short lived for me, but ultimately I saw pretty quickly, like, yo, this could end in no telling what kind of consequences, right? Like life-changing scenarios here.
Yeah.
So again, that fear would set in of like, man, I don't want that. Like I've been here, I've done that a bit. So like, fortunately, like I said, I met Haley early on, like 2013 is when we met. So I was already like, in my mind, I was ready to meet that girl. I was ready to meet Haley, because I was kind of over, the scene and meeting random girls and trying to do that. But I think if I was going to put a finger on a year, it's probably 2012, 2011, even 2010, before we had a deal, where we were just like grinding, bro. And we were, just in a club every, 4 nights a week, getting drunk every night, just to basically feel like you're surviving a little bit,
Chasing the dream
and roughing it, and you can imagine, just rough, bro.
Just being a young Thundercat,
and feeling like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like, yo, I'm a rock star
like
now.
You got nothing to lose at the time, so you're just going for it, you know.
And when you're in your early 20s, dude, a hangover's nothing.
Yeah,
They're non-existent. You wake up and you're like I feel kind of bad about myself, but I'm going to move forward.
Mhm.
I'm going to keep
boys are doing it. I got to keep up.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't be the guys hey, boys, not me tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sleep in the van. It's like,
Right.
Oh, come on, bro. And you're just like, that's the,
all right, one drink. One drink,
At
boys. That's
least,
all that
yeah.
matters.
8 beers later, you're like, all right, I'm ready to play a show.
Yeah.
All right, let's get after it.
When you're hitting the van, what was like the moment for you that you're like, oh shit, we're going to make it?
I would say in 2012, we were on a tour called the Country Throwdown Tour. We were the only band that was in a van driving ourselves around the country, and it was a bunch of acts on this tour, and we were the barbecue band. So to be on this tour, we had to agree to play in the afternoon. This was a summer tour as well, so it was like 100 degrees every day. We were playing at 2:00. Then we'd load our gear up into a semi that was on the tour because we had a trailer that they made us leave at home because they gave us a Kingsford barbecue grill and smoker that we pulled behind the van, and we would play our show, load our gear up. Again, probably struggling from the night before, so we're like, hungover. And then they give us a pocket full of cash and say, all right, you got to go grocery shopping and get enough food for the whole tour with this money. And you guys are cooking the hamburgers and hot dogs tonight. And we were the party, like the life of the party. So whenever anybody in the whole tour, act, crew, band, it didn't matter. When they got done playing, they would come to where we were at, where we were set up, and we were cooking for the whole tour, the whole rest of the night, had the music blasting, kind of like setting the pace for the party. And it was a lot of fun, but we were the first ones up. And then we were the last one. Then midnight would roll around, or 1:00. We'd pour a bunch of water on the grill, try to get it to go out. We'd load up in the van. Like I said, somebody would pop an Adderall, and we would just take off down the road. Literally, sometimes there's still like embers flying from the grill going down the interstate.
Yeah.
And driving ourselves around the Southeast and Midwest on that tour was the roughest. That was definitely the roughest tour. But at the same time, to answer your question, that was when we started to feel some traction and see people. That was when Cruise came out. We started seeing people show up early to watch us play and sing the words. And me and BK look at each other like, bro, there's like fans out here, dude. Like, holy cow. And we're starting to feel the momentum. And by the end of that tour, we thought we were the biggest thing on the tour, but we were still, we were like
Still grilling.
Still grilling.
Going to
grilling.
Kroger's, the Piggly Wiggly, trying to get everybody their food.
That's it, dude.
Dude, were there any notable acts like on that tour?
Gary Allen was like one of the headliners.
Yeah. Airplane's a great song.
There was a few more. I think the year before Brantley Gilbert had done that, but it's so long ago, I can't even remember. I just remember watching Gary Allen. Josh Thompson was on that tour as well, which I was a big fan of him. But Gary was the headliner, so we were kind of watching and dreaming and taking notes from him.
You watch him? What were the things how did he
We were
operate?
usually busy cooking, but yeah, I'd hear him from a distance.
Was he one of those guys that turned in early, or was he up?
No, Gary would stay up. Yeah, he was one of the last. He'd get done, then come over to our, area and hang out and have a burger and do the thing. Yeah, he wasn't afraid to stay up late.
I like that. You guys had all that traction, like coming off that tour. Like, what was the big break? Like, what was the big moment where it's going from like, oh damn, people are showing up to our shows, like, BK, this is fucking sick, blah blah blah, to like the big moment comes and you guys get, whether it's a deal, whatever it is, to where your big break finally came.
I think there was a few moments for me. This sounds a little silly, but when I moved to Nashville, I realized there was a career called songwriting, and I was like, oh, I just thought like everybody wrote their own stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? So I realized pretty quickly, like, I think that's what I want to do. So when I graduated college, me and BK both, we were just pursuing being a songwriter. And so in 2012, we signed our first deal, and we signed a publishing deal, which paid us $1,500 a month. And that was, they basically asked, what is it going to take to cover your bills and allow you to write full time? And it's about $1,500. So at that point, to be honest, as weird as that sounds, I remember feeling like I'm a professional songwriter now. Like, I've done it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I don't have to wash cars anymore. Like, I can fully wake up and focus on writing songs, which was a dream for me. So that was probably the first, like, feeling like, man, I've made it, bro. Like, I'm a professional songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a moment I remember when we got our first tour bus. That was also after being in vans, Sprinter vans. We started out in BK's Tahoe, so like when we got a tour bus to where we could actually lay down and sleep through the night and have a driver, that was one of the biggest moments for us. Is like, bro, we've made it. We got a tour bus. So there's a lot of, along the way, moments where you look back and, in hindsight, you're like, we didn't have nothing really going, but in our mind, like, we had made it.
Yeah.
So
It's like small steps,
sick.
man.
totally.
First you're driving, then you're on the tour bus,
Yep.
next you're flying, then you're flying private. Like there's always
Right.
like a new level.
Yep.
Is there, when you started to have this level of success, like what to you is like the pinnacle of reaching whatever new goal you have in your mind right now?
Wait, say that again. Right now?
Right now, during Florida Georgia Line, during whenever you feel like, because right now you're in a transition and coming off a great album, going into a new album, but like let's say the pinnacle of Florida Georgia Line, where did you see it going even further, and where was that point?
Oh man, I think selling out stadiums is obviously sort of the pinnacle of where we took it, where we thought it could go, where we dreamed of it going, and we played. I think when we did that tour where it was a baseball stadium tour, and it was Backstreet Boys and Nelly were opening for us.
Oh, let's
Oh, shit.
So it was Backstreet, Nelly, and then us, and it was just, I was living out my wildest, childhood dreams, basically, or middle school dreams, being on tour with Nelly, and then getting to see Backstreet do their thing. Like, it was just nostalgic for me, and it was a pretty surreal tour. So I would say that was one of those moments where I'm like, bro, it doesn't get any better than this, man. We got sold out stadiums and getting to play with some of our heroes, and to answer your question about if we saw it getting any bigger, I don't know, man. I mean, the journey was kind of like, the trajectory was insane at the beginning. So it really just took us, we just buckled up, dude, and kept our head down.
you guys
We're just like,
exploded on the
yeah,
scene.
It was just like,
Even because you like did a collab with Nelly,
right. Yeah.
which was, I remember that. Like, that is like, you guys did explode on the scene quick. So
Yeah,
it's
it was
almost
crazy.
like you just went like a vertical line and
We were
just
just
kind of
like-
stayed there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buckle up, bro. So, and then it kind of, like most careers do, it had to eventually slow down a bit, and it did, and we had kind of our ups and downs, and kind of some great seasons, and sort of some like, oh, that didn't hit as hard as we thought. But for the most part, man, I mean, that was just the wildest ride. Looking back, I mean, I wouldn't trade anything. I wouldn't change anything. And it was just incredible, but it really kind of set me up for what we're doing now, getting to kind of redo it and take everything I learned from back in the day and reapply it to the solo career, and also getting to go back and like to where we fell in love with it the first time, like these clubs and theaters and smaller venues that are super intimate, and you get to connect with the fans, and like, cause you lose that along the way. Like when you get in bigger venues, it's a lot more difficult. And then it just becomes redundant, cause you go and you play the same 50 venues over and over and over in amphitheaters. And so to be able to go back and kind of reinvent myself / reconnect with the fans and these cool clubs and stuff, it's been like super, super awesome, and like giving me new energy. So
When you're on the trajectory you're at, and you have those years where, like, okay, that didn't hit as hard as we thought it was going to, like, how do you like navigate the ego in that situation? Because if you're on this crazy trajectory and you think we're just going to keep going like this, because inevitably we all think like, oh, this is going to happen forever, until reality sets in. When those lulls did happen, like, what was your mindset of, is it like, hey, I just got to work harder? Or was it
I
like,
think so? And I had people on the come up that were like, hey, bro, this ain't going to last forever. I kept and not a ton of people would say that, but when it did, it really stuck with me, that you need to be prepared for when this is not doing what it's doing, because it won't do it forever, right? So I was somewhat mentally prepared for the trajectory to somewhat level out. And when it did, I do think it motivated me, for sure. Like, I'm kind of a driven dude, and probably more competitive than I like to give myself credit for. But yeah, to have a little bit of a challenge or a struggle, or to try to understand why didn't that connect like we thought it would. A lot of learning lessons along the way. But I would say, the ego thing, I don't know, man. I took it in stride. I think it was good for us to have little blows to the ego occasionally and keep us kind of grounded. And then yeah, nothing more humbling than having to start all over again, not from ground zero, but pretty close to it. So it's been, last couple years for me have been, just a life lesson in humility, and, and taking that, challenge head on. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple people tell me like, well, you can't come out of a band and then have a successful, it's like never been done. Like, nobody's had a big solo career after being a major career in a band. So I heard that like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah,
Let's go then.
answer the bell.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's like the example a lot of people are aware of due to the movie, but Queen.
Yeah, Freddie
When they
Mercury.
broke up, and Freddie kind of tries to do his own thing. Why go the solo route? Like, what happened beyond the way with you and BK that's like to where Florida Georgia Line can't be forever?
Yeah, good question. I mean, for me, it was really unexpected. But BK came to me and said, man, I'm really feeling like I want to do a solo thing. And I'm like, really? I'm like, we were just getting out of our first deal. We were kind of in a sweet spot that we had worked for 10 years to get to. And I'm like, bro, like, why don't we just ride this thing out for like 5 more years, 10 more years, and then we can do the solo thing or whatever. But, but again, like I wanted to support him. He was adamant, like, no, now's my time. I really need to do this for myself. And I'm like, well, hey, whatever you need to do, bro, like, what do you want from me? He's like, I just want support. So I'm like, all right, you got it, bro. Like, we've had an incredible ride. If this is where it's going to go, like, let's do it and crush it. And you never know, maybe it'll bring us back together and we can have a reunion tour or whatever. But it was, he definitely initiated the whole thing from the beginning. And it kind of, when I say caught me off guard, it wasn't that we had never mentioned it before. It's just one of those things where I didn't think it was going to happen then. You know what I mean?
Coming into a deal.
Like you just said, coming into a spot to where.
Yeah, just in a sweet spot, just gotten out of our first deal, able to kind of negotiate where we want to go from there and have a lot of freedom, and we're in a great place. But yeah, for him, that was the right time. And for me, I was like, well, I'll just, again, I kind of thought, well, I'll just stay in town and be a songwriter. That sounds like a fun gig, you know, just 11 to 3 life and hang out with the fam. At that point, we had just had our 3rd kid. So I was pretty, you know, in the deep end on being a dad and figuring all that out. So I was pretty preoccupied. But then a year or so later, I was like, man, I really miss like making records. I miss being on tour. I miss the whole aspect of the artist life. And so yeah, then I met my manager and felt really supported. I was like, man, I'll dive back into this and see what I can do. And again, like I said, I heard that it couldn't be done a couple times, and I was like, man, I'd like to try.
Yeah.
So yeah, just sort of timing and life in general just sort of led us in that direction, and something that now I'm really grateful for. It's been a lot of fun rebuilding. It's been a lot of fun. Like, it's incredible doing something with your friend and having a partner, but taking the dynamic back to the basics of just like me getting to be the leader that I'd like to be, and getting to do it on my own, and getting to kind of build culture around, you know, the type of culture that I want to build. And you got to think about it. When we started FGL, we were like 23 years old, bro. Like I said, we were just young, dumb, and on a mission, you know what I'm saying? And learning as we were going. Now I get to kind of take all that and kind of rebuild with that in mind, and a little bit more maturity and a little bit more gratitude and humility, and all that makes it for a fun ride.
When you're first like presented with hey, I want to go on my own solo route, like, is your first reaction like, oh, I'm going to support you, or is it the natural? Yeah, like,
my
yo,
first reaction,
you're just like, hey, Bussin, we're not.
Hey, I'm
not
going to start my own podcast.
I'm just thinking, what's going on?
It'd be like me going to you right now, and be like, hey, well, I know it's a contract year, but honestly, I'm thinking about doing my own thing now.
Year, but yeah,
and you're just like,
you'd be a little
I need
confused.
your support. As your friend, I need your support, and you're just like, okay, I support you. Piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because it's got to, I mean,
with the
confusing
third
is easy,
kid on
but
the way,
like, the human nature, like anybody who essentially, like, if you're together for 10 years, like, there's a level of divorce. Like, you guys are in a marriage essentially.
Yeah.
And then you're not the one approaching the person about leaving.
Right.
There's got to be some type of like, are you all the work I did?
Bro,
all of this?
I mean,
I supported you.
Like where we've came from, where we've been.
Those burgers.
Right.
I put those burgers.
Yeah.
You were just the toppings guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Bro,
right.
There was definitely a period of time where I was just like confused, and I'm just like, bro, like why? Like why now? And I even told him, we had good conversations around it, like even like being real vulnerable. I'm like, bro, is it not like I feel like I'm not enough for you? Like, you know what I mean? Like honestly, it felt like a divorce where you're like, bro. And BK had this thing where he's like, no, I still want to do Florida Georgia Line.
No, I love you.
I just want to do the solo thing too.
You want an open relationship.
And I had to tell him, I go, bro, from an emotional standpoint, I said, I know this is dramatic, but this is what it feels like. It feels like we're in a marriage and everything's great and we love the benefits, but you want to go sleep with the neighbors and come home at night and me be cool with it and just like jump back in bed and everything's cool and blah, blah, blah. And I said, emotionally, it feels like that, bro. Like I can't do both. I said, I'm going to give you the choice, but it's either Florida Georgia Line or solo career. Because also I don't have capacity to like do 2 careers. And I said, it's also like it's going to get super sticky. Like when we're writing songs, who are we writing for? When we got 2 show offers, an FGL date and a solo date, like what are we taking here? So like, I'm just like, I don't even logistically see how that would work, much less emotionally. So like,
unless BK opens for both of you.
Right.
Like, how's it gonna?
But even to the point of writing, like hey, that's a banger. Are we thinking we're gonna use that? Like,
One thing I did know is like, it takes every ounce of creativity and energy that we got to keep this thing going. And we've always poured all of our energy into this. So like to think that we can only pour half of our energy into this and expect it to do anything is a little bit naive. And then I also told him, I'm like, bro, if you want to be a solo artist, you don't deserve to give yourself 50%. And I don't deserve 50% of you. So it's either you give me 100% or you give yourself 100% of you. So you can go crush it. But there's no like, we're not just going to half-ass both things. So for me, that's kind of where that was my one boundary. You know, I was like, yo, I'm all about it, dude. Like whatever you need to do, but here's my boundary. And so kind of gave him the choice, and he chose to go do the solo thing. And at the time, like you said, I was kind of like, man, like, dude, like, this sucks, bro. Like look what we've built, you know what I'm saying? Together, like you and me, you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, there was definitely some weeks of kind of like healing, I would say, you know what I'm saying? Like we had talks with therapists and life coaches, and we kind of sussed it all out.
Together or separate?
Together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was legitimately a marriage.
Yeah.
Like the more you talk about it, it's like, yo,
and I
always therapy.
Right.
I compared it to that quite a bit because other than the sexual side of things, it was very similar to our marriages where you're just like, you know, it's a commitment. It takes work. It takes dedication. It's all the things when it comes to a partnership, especially at that capacity, so it's been interesting to navigate, but it's also been fun. And look, in hindsight now, I'm like grateful for where we're at, grateful for that ride, grateful for the new, ride that we're on. And, wouldn't have ever done it if he hadn't initiated it. So at the end of the day, I kind of just sort of grateful that he did,
Right. So the way I'm picturing this in my head is you're in a 10-year marriage. Everything seems good. Comes home, honey, listen, I love you, but I think we should make this marriage open. You're like, I'm not going to do that. You have to make a decision. The decision's made. You're going through a divorce essentially. And you think in your mind, I'm never going to get married again. AKA, I'll be a songwriter. I can kind of fade off in the distance. I've had all this success and I can go make money making this catalog because that's where a lot of the money's at. How long was that process before you're like, you know what, fuck this, dude. Enough people have said the solo act thing can't happen. Like, if he's going to go do it, I can go do it too. And in your mind, everyone's in competition.
Right.
Probably do that better also.
I think it was 8 months or so, somewhere 6 or 8 months. It's not a ton of time went by, but enough for me to really process, take my time, be patient. And then the kicker was when I met my manager. Because before I felt really alone, right? And I knew, I just felt by alone. I mean, I just didn't have tons of support. I didn't feel like I had a team around me. I felt super alone. And I knew, like, definitely been in the game long enough to know, like, you ain't doing it on your own. You got to have a good team around you. So when I met my manager, I felt super supported. And I was just like, you know what? I think I could do this, especially with the help of this management team. And I had already been writing a bunch of songs at that point too. So I also had a good stack of songs where I'm like, and I could like make a record tomorrow. So like, why not give it a shot? But it did take that like meeting him and feeling like, all right, I'm not alone in this. I have a support team. I have somebody I can bounce ideas off of. Cause BK was a lot of that for me coming up. We'd bounce ideas off each other. And so when that was kind of gone, I'm like, man, I don't know how to do this by myself. So
the support
talk about that fear of failure. Cause I would assume it's like literally top of the world to, we just went through this divorce that probably took a while. There's probably friction and everything else. It takes 8 months of the kind of the emotional healing of it all and kind of seeing everything for what it is. Like, hey, I got, I kind of want to move on. I'm writing. I like it. Now I'm kind of getting that itch to, I kind of want to perform, but talk through that fear of failure. You're like, okay, I'm going to go back out there and man, like falling flat on your face. We all have it. It's like we have this ego built up from like our glory days.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I'm about to put myself back out there. Talk a little bit about that fear of failure, getting back in it.
I mean, there was definitely a little bit of fear involved. And I would say for me, I had to mentally just say like, yo, who you doing this for? You know what I'm saying? Like, you doing it for you or you doing it for some other reason? So I had to really just say like, if I'm writing songs that I'm loving, if I'm recording and I'm proud of my art, then that's all I can do, right? So like, whether it's as big as FGL, it probably won't be because not many artists have ever been as big as FGL. So it's like I had to kind of just accept like this might look different for me, but I want to go write songs that I'm passionate about, that I love, that might connect with other people, and start playing shows again. Also, you know, I also had so much more to live for, right? So it wasn't like do or die with the music thing. It was like, man, let me just go enjoy making music and playing shows and just enjoy it and not worry about having to be the best all the time. Because then I was getting to come home to 3 kids, a great wife. So in my perspective, I was like, yo, I'm winning, man. Like, even if the music thing isn't as big as FGL or Trajectory doesn't take off like crazy, like, I'm proud of my album. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of how we've handled the situation, and I'm proud to now I get to come home to a great family, and this is how I want to continue to support them, you know. And I had to do something. I mean, writing songs would have supported my family, but it just seemed like a piece of the puzzle, not the whole puzzle.
Right.
So yeah, I had to step into that a bit and be like, hey, if I fail, I'm gonna learn from it and get back up and keep crushing, and not put too much pressure on myself. Try not to let my ego drive this thing, and you know, remember what life's all about.
Yeah, because
So.
at one point it seems like, at least the way I would think, is I'm going to go through my morning process, but then the thing that's going to get me out of that bed is revenge.
Right.
The best revenge is massive success.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, I got to check myself and be like, maybe don't do it for those reasons.
Right.
But then all the things you just said.
Yeah, man.
When you did those 8 months of like writing songs, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go do this solo act. Now, you and BK shouldering the burden of being a lead together. What were some of the things that BK maybe have done more in FGL that you thought, okay, I know that he did this for the most part, and how do I pick up that slack on my end, becoming my own individual person?
Good question, bro. I'd say he was, a lot of the times he was like the fun loving, like funny guy, like lighthearted, brought a lot of good energy to a room. You know, everybody loved to be around BK, especially for the most of our career. He was just like, and I might have been more like, I don't know, maybe a little bit less of that person. So I would say there were times where he was a great leader in those types of things, and I was able to take the back seat a bit, you know, and even subconsciously, because I was more the lead vocal and more the face at times, I would subconsciously step out of certain roles more to allow him to step into certain roles, so that hopefully it was well balanced, you know what I mean? And so now, you know, taking on all the roles and putting all the, I guess, the pressure or all the responsibility on my shoulders was definitely new. But also, again, it was great because it allowed me to step into those roles that maybe I hadn't fully stepped into before, to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And so now I'm able to kind of lead the way that I'd like to be a leader, create culture that's not always worrying about, like, am I stepping on my partner's toes, or am I overshadowing my partner too much by investing in these people's lives, or those types of things. So it's been interesting to kind of navigate and like, and see how that's something that I didn't even know, like, until I was in it. I didn't even know that, like, oh yeah, like, I remember like not really investing as much into this because I didn't want to look like I was trying to just like always, you know,
like do too much or be too much.
Yeah.
Try to take too much of the light.
You can tell you've thought a lot of this stuff through, and I really appreciate and like respect kind of your perspective on it all, because I'm sure it was as well as you can explain it right now. I'm sure it was just such a like process to get to a lot of these awareness points and everything else.
Totally. And especially, y'all remember like what 2020 was like, 2021. I mean, it was chaos in all aspects of life. So like, before we even decided to do this, we had already been off the road for like a year and a half, like wondering, are we ever going to play shows again? Like, what's going on with our career? Then the political narrative came out that me and him were so different, polarizing, you know, politically. And a lot of people had these false narratives about why this was even happening, because we weren't super upfront with the fans from the beginning. And so that was also a little unfortunate, where I'm like, I'm in the back seat thinking like, no guys, that's not really the situation, or not really the case. Like, but you can't control what people are thinking or saying. So you just kind of got to ride with it and just stick to your truth, and just, and let it be. So that was an interesting few years of, I mean, we all kind of went through just an interesting, like, how do we navigate the pandemic? How do we navigate all these factors in our culture at the time? So it was a confusing and hard time, but grateful for it.
And it seems like, when all these narratives and all these like false things of why you guys are breaking up or mutually parting, like, how did you, like, you obviously want to say something, like, did you go and hit the people up? You're like, hey, can I say this?
I felt like it was not really my, I don't want to say responsibility, but it wasn't my role. I felt like, and I felt like it was something that, I wanted BK to do. And I felt like it was his, I didn't want to take that from him. I didn't want to be like, no, here's the situation, guys, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I kind of just sat back and I kept telling BK, bro, we need to, like, I'd really love for you to tell the fans, like, what's going on? Like, tell them your heart, tell them what we're doing, tell them why we're doing it, tell them, give them, I said, because we want our fans to join us on our new journey. We don't want them to just end with FGL and wonder whatever happened with FGL and when's FGL coming back. It needs to be a transition. And these fans we built for the last decade, they can come with us if we allow them to and open the door and give them context. But otherwise, they're just confused and they're angry.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting in the back.
Assume.
And they'll just assume. Everybody makes up stories in their heads. So that was happening a lot. And kind of still does, because we still haven't really, it's not like me and BK have sat down together and told the world, like, the real ins and outs. Because I still think me and him both still have somewhat different narratives in our head about how it unfolded. But ultimately, we didn't talk about it very candidly from the beginning. So it allowed a lot of that kind of like people to make up stories and this and that.
Right.
And then you throw politics in the middle of it, and everybody then it's an easy target for everybody to be like, oh yeah, well, we see why they broke up, and it's like, well, really had nothing to do with that, but whatever,
Yeah. Is this probably one of the, how often have you spoken this openly about that whole situation?
Just a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inside scoop.
Most people are uncomfortable talking about it.
Really?
Yeah, I find, just because I don't know why. I don't know if it's they're uncomfortable.
Because it's your personal business, and for you to sit with a microphone in your face, and for me and Will to be like, so tell us about your breakup.
Yeah.
You're essentially opening yourself up to not only us, but everybody listening.
Right. It's therapeutic for me, honestly. Yeah. Like at this point, especially, it's been like 3.5 years. So I've, like you said, Will, I've really processed a lot. And so to talk about it is just another part of the process for me. And I'm kind of an open book. I don't mind talking about it.
Well, we might have to
almost
do.
like somebody, like, I'm just picturing it, like, if I'm like chilling with them, there's not a level of you that wants to, it's like, hey, so what happened? Because you'd almost think the outsider or third party perspective would just be like, oh, I probably ended badly, and it might not be going as great as it once was because FGL was so high. So you almost don't want to open up something that might be close to you, where it's like, okay, yeah, I don't want to. I mean, we navigate.
You and I have known each other for what, 4 years, and so I was your friend during all that, and I never once, for that exact reason, be around you, knowing all this stuff's going down. But in my head, I'm like, I don't want to. Hey, so Tyler, so what's going on with all this? Because you just don't want to put your friend in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like,
you don't know how people handle it. You don't know if people are more of an open book that like to talk about things, or maybe they like to keep it all in. But for me, I appreciated and enjoyed when my real friends would be like, hey, bro, like, you doing all right, bro? You doing good? Like, how you feeling, man? Because this shit is not easy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'd be like, you're right, it's not easy, and I'm doing okay, but here's my, but I'm frustrated or this or that. So So we had, and again, there was during the time where we weren't able to see anybody. We weren't able to go really hang out. If you remember, it was all just like virtual dates and virtual rights and virtual
emotions
everything.
Were high.
Emotions were high. People didn't want to talk about anything that could potentially be touchy or controversial
or
anything.
The exact opposite. Only wanted to talk about that.
Right.
It was like one of the two.
Right. You're right. So there was a lot of that going on, but I had some good buddies that, I kind of leaned on and kind of like, helped me process through it all.
What we should do is get a couple years down the road, get you and BK on here. Just hash it out. Therapeutic sessions with Willie and
our new therapist.
Hanging out, man.
Or partners to partners.
Yeah.
Do you guys talk anymore?
It's pretty minimal now, bro. I don't know if BK needs some space or what, but I still try to reach out on text and stuff. But
hey, congrats on this.
Hey, that's what I do. Yeah, just congrats on the new song or whatever. But there's not a whole lot of engagement at this point, to be honest.
You feel like FGL will get back together for a reunion some point down the road?
it's really hard to say.
Yeah.
You know, if I'll never say never, but a lot of stuff would have to change, to be honest. A lot of dynamics there'd have to be some real long, open conversations.
Yeah.
Some healing would have to be done for
Yeah.
sure before that ever happened.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys both just
You
go
never
crush your
know.
solo acts.
you
Yeah,
never
that's
know.
the hope, man.
Just
Just
bring it back.
I really, yeah, exactly. That'd be kind of cool. I'd love that like narrative, honestly, even if it's 10 years down the road. Like, that's why I really wish the best for BK. I hope he has a huge solo career. Cause yeah, if we both have big careers and then come back and do something cool together, I think it could be bigger
that
than
would
ever.
be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
hey,
awesome.
remember what we were bitching out back in the day? Like,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was so
Okay,
dumb,
we can
right?
laugh all that
that
off.
was
Yeah.
so dumb.
Whoever was fun in the room, be like, "Hey, I'm sorry."
Yeah,
of
both of them are probably like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry for doing
Couple
this.
good I'm
Like,
sorry.
yeah.
Never hurt
Yeah,
nobody. Yeah.
yeah.
No, he knows. I tell him, I'm like, bro, I'm always here, bro. If you ever want to like talk, grab coffee, like go on a hike, like I'm here, bro. I'm not
Yeah.
mad at you. So it's good. I think he knows where I'm at, and he knows that I'm doing my thing, but I'm still here for him.
Yeah.
he needs me.
Talk about, dude, you had something to
I
go?
was just gonna say, so 8 months down the road, you start this. Your management team comes to you like, how quickly? Because you said you had songs in the bank, so you do an album tomorrow. How quickly did that process get started?
It was pretty quick, bro. Once we hit the gas, I mean, it was like, let's start recording music. Let's start setting up strategy. What I loved about my new team was everything we do is super intentional. So like strategic, everything.
Yeah.
So it was fun to really sit down. All right, what are we going to do here? What's the goals? How do we want to, reintroduce you to the world? Like, what I found was a lot of people didn't really know who I was. Like, as far as like who Tyler Hubbard is as a person, they thought they knew Florida Georgia Line, even in town. Like we had a reputation. People just assumed I was BK and BK was me, and we were one unit and we were the same. And they also assumed that we never changed in 10 years. You know what I mean? That we're still just these crazy, wild,
same 23-year-olds,
egotistical.
They see
Yeah.
Timberland boots and a lot of denim, and they're like,
exactly.
okay,
Cut off sleeves and,
Yeah.
and a bunch of ego. Like we were 23 years old, even when we were 30, right? It's like, so, and that was probably partially our fault, but I didn't realize that until I stepped into the solo thing. And it took me a minute to reintroduce, myself to not only the world, but to Nashville and to the music community and kind of say like, hey, you guys know the 23-year-old Tyler, but now I'm 34 years old and I'm a different person and I want to introduce who I am now. And here's the music I'm working on. And so all that was kind of like a blessing too, if, in hindsight, because you're like, man, like if we were still doing FGL, like we might just still be known as the 23-year-old party band duo, So again, it's just another one of those kind of blessings along the way that I got to reintroduce myself and kind of rebuild my reputation that's more authentic to who I am at this point,
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so fascinated to kind of know about the behind the scenes stuff of the business of music, because like you alluded to it earlier. You're like, oh, they're paying me, how much does it take to cover your expenses a month or something like that? And if you're a big brain thinker, you're like, oh man, Tyler, he has no clue that he's an incredible writer. And if we're just dishing him $1,500 a month for him to pump out songs that we might use, that they might use. And then you also alluded to, oh, we're about to be out of this first deal to where we're kind of set up for whatever we want to do. And then now you're talking about, I'm sitting in these meetings, we're talking about strategizing. How am I going to reintroduce myself? Can you talk about some of that behind the scenes stuff with FGL? Because it seems you guys just exploded. People saw like, oh shit, these guys are going to be massive. Let's put enough dollars around them that we need to capitalize on it. We'll throw FGL house downtown. We'll do all these things. You're not in the strategy meetings. Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah. I mean, the music business is crazy, bro. And I think that's why I love it. And it's always changing. So like, for example, when we signed our first record deal in 2012, there wasn't even streaming back then. You know what I'm saying? Which feels like forever ago, but
Wasn't
like
in Spotify.
there was no Spotify, there was no Pandora, there was no Apple Music. I mean, it was Apple. It was where you go and buy songs.
Yeah,
you remember
that felt taboo because you'd still just
LimeWire.
Right,
It was
you're either stealing the music or you're going and buying an album, right? And that changed pretty quickly, like 13, 14 or so is when that streaming really became a thing. So even that as an example, where like, you create this whole record deal around this whole business model, and then all of a sudden the business model changes and there's new revenue being created from streaming that's going to the label that they didn't even account for in the original deal. So like for them, it was a huge win. But yeah, bro, like the music, that's why I love the music business, because as soon as you get it figured out, it changes and you're just like, okay. But it's also super complex and complicated. And I even went to school for music business, bro. I went to Belmont and studied. That was my major, music business. And I probably could have learned more in school, to be honest myself, but I still felt like pretty green, bro. I got that degree, but I was still pretty green. And I'm still like, even to this day, I'm figuring it out, you know, but it's a lot of fun because it is so intricate and there's so many layers you can kind of unfold, unpeel, and from the publishing company side of things to the record label side to the management side to development side and artist side. I mean, there's just a lot of intricate little things. So it's it can be a scary business just because you never really fully understand it all.
Right.
But it's also fun. It keeps you on your toes because it's not static. It's not.
Would there be friction with the label, like when the new revenue would get generated from like the streaming service and be like, okay, well, I mean, contractually they have the rights to do this X, Y, and Z, but
Come on, give me a little piece.
Let me get a little
Not
piece.
a ton. We had a pretty good dynamic and relationship with our record label through our whole career, probably because we were making them so much money. But it was good, you know, and we had a kind of the relationship where they were a little more like behind the scenes and we would go and do our thing creatively and then just turn in our projects and ask them for our needs. And they would usually give us what we needed. And it was kind of, because sometimes you get too many cooks in the kitchen, you know, that people want to be involved, and it can get more difficult, cluttered up, everybody's opinions, because music is so objective and opinionated that it's just, sometimes it's like, no, we just want to keep a tight circle of creatives that we love and trust. And we're going to have, you know, our manager, our producer, and basically me and BK, we're going to make the decisions and execute all the things. And then we'll turn it in and the label will, you know, exploit it or work it or however you want to look at it. But, so for that, but I do talk to artists, friends of mine, you know, that it can just get so, diluted and confusing and, kind of overcomplicated.
Yeah.
For sure. So it's a complex thing, but we got pretty lucky along the way, to be honest. We never had that, but I set the stage really early. With the first label meeting we ever had, I was like, look, again, this is that 23-year-old ego coming out, but I was like, hey guys, we don't even need y'all. Me and BK got this, and we're going to build, and we're out here building fans and building a career. If you guys want to be a part of our career, then you're welcome to join us, but you're going to do it our way. And we're going to learn from you guys, but you guys aren't going to dictate what we do. You're not going to try to change us, tell us what to do. None of that's happening here. So if you guys want to sign us, just know that ahead of time. And literally that kind of stood the test of time, and they really kind of like
It doesn't sound like ego. It sounds like a good
well,
move.
it's a little bit of both, but it
Yeah.
was like beneficial ego, right? Or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Right.
like
Confidence.
just the ego you need, just
You
the
really
amount of
set the
confidence
expectation
to like
with-
set the
yeah.
stage for what's to happen. Because a lot of times artists don't know who they are, what they want to do, or nothing like that, and it makes it easy for labels to come in and somewhat manipulate or, you know, think they're going to mold somebody into what they want. A lot of
Mhm.
times that doesn't just doesn't work well. So it was nice to have that already kind of in place.
With your process and like setting that tone, did you ever run into like the label being like, hey, maybe I should make the song a little more X, Y, and Z, a little more poppy, a little more like this? Because this is what's in right now. This is what the rage is. This is what's hit.
Labels do that for
Yeah.
sure. But for some reason in our scenario, it was, they just trusted us. And I don't know if we spoke this out loud, but it was sort of that understanding of, you do it our way until it don't work, and then we'll listen to your way.
Mhm.
And fortunately for us, it always kind of worked. So we never had a real like creative dispute or kind of, you know, we didn't really butt heads too much. It was very much like, okay, whatever you guys want to do, we'll do it. And most of the time it worked out. There was a few times where they pushed on a single. I mean, we did butt heads once or twice. But ultimately it worked out. But for the most part, I was thankful. It was just like, hey, y'all let us do our thing and we'll let y'all do your thing.
What was the single they pushed on?
It was one of the last singles, I think, wanted us to put out a little bit as a single at country radio, which was basically a hip hop song. And we knew it was going to be our last single. And I was just like, I'd rather not put that single out because radio's, first of all, not going to play this song. Secondly, I don't want to end on a hip hop song. I want to end strong on a great country song. You know, we got an album full of country songs. So that was a little bit of like, that was a little frustrating. Because ultimately the label has the power to do whatever they want to do, really. at the end of the day. So
you have your voice, but they're like, we have 51% of the vote.
they kind of pulled that card and did their thing, and that's why I'm not right now. But but it worked out. Yeah, it worked out. It was great.
When you talk about the strategy of like rebranding yourself, 34-year-old Tyler Hubbard, to the entire world, like what went into the strategy? Like how, obviously you're uniquely yourself and you know who yourself is, but how does one show themselves in the light they want to be shown to the world?
Well, I first of all had to go on a deep dive myself because
Ayahuasca?
I think you know yourself. Yeah. What took a journey?
Yeah.
I took a long journey.
Yeah, me and Rogers had Malibu, dude. Talking to God.
Just having a journey. But no, dude, I spent some time like really diving into like who I am now. How do I want to be portrayed? How do I want to present myself? What's important to me? What do I want to say in my music? What do I want my music to make people feel like? And ultimately, it was a really good time of self-discovery. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like, okay, it felt like I knew myself well at that point, but I had to kind of vocalize it, and because I think even myself would kind of fall to that holding up the reputation that we might have had. You know what I'm saying? Of like, well, I can't do this and that within FGL because it's not what FGL does. So when the slate was kind of wiped clean and I was able to just like really suss it out and take some time to think about it. Again, I had a great life coach that helped kind of like navigate that with me. Once the songs started like coming together, I mean, I probably had a pile of like 30 or 40 songs that I really loved, but like narrowing it down to an album and figuring out, okay, I want it to be dynamic, diverse. I want people to know that, hey, I still like to have a good time, but I love my family. I'm a man of faith. I like to write songs from the heart too. I lost my dad when I was 20. So let's touch on that. Like letting the fans in on a little bit more of who I am and where I came from, my story was something I had never got to do before, cause usually, when you got a partner and you're in a group, you don't get as personal with it, just for that dynamic aspect so that everything we do is like an us thing. So it was really fun to dive in and be like, man, who am I? And what do I want to leave? What's my legacy? I think FGL is just like chapter 1, And so yeah, it was cool to kind of go there and figure it out. And I feel like now people probably know the most authentic version of who I am. And, it's been fun to kind of figure that out.
When you're, when you go in this deep dive and you come back, how did your management team publicly display you? Okay, you're a man of faith, family man, write songs from the heart, lost your dad when you were 20. Was there like a strategy that went into, okay, we need your social media, it's going to look like X, Y, and Z? Or
kinda.
Because there is a level of like, to change your reputation, you need to first change it yourself and then present it to the world. So how does the management team present it to the world?
Well, first of all, I'll never forget one of the first meetings I had with the management team was, I sat down with them and they had like a 2-page paper full of questions that were like, some were surface level, some were like really hard questions. Like, who are you? Like, what do you want to say to the world? Like really hard questions that I like sat with and lived with, so they were getting to know me through that process, but I was getting to know myself in that current state, in that current time. And so once we sort of established that and they had a good grasp of like who I am, my personality, what kind of like personality traits we wanted to lean in on that were, really who I was, it was fun to kind of strategize together. But a lot of that came with sitting down with the town, if you will, and just face-to-face meetings, man, just playing on my new music, sharing with them my heart, sharing where I was, who I was, and then just trying to be fully me. There's a lot of different sides of who I am, but it was fun to and it took time, dude. I mean, we spent weeks, they'd set up meetings with all the DSPs individually. So I'd sit down and just sort of reintroduce myself very, very literally in a sense of like, I know you guys know me from FGL, but here's who I am and where I'm at now in life. And we got a saying, it says, win the town, or win the room, win the town, win the world. So we literally started in a room, you know what I mean? And slowly but surely we felt like we were winning the room, and then we were winning the town, and now we're winning the world, trying to,
Right.
you know, as a process
sharpening it,
strategy,
yeah.
as opposed, it doesn't happen overnight either. It's just, you know, one thing at a time. So that was kind of our MO.
It's probably awesome too, like once you start playing for everybody, like them seeing the reaction, the positive reaction to your new music, because yeah, you're getting to know yourself, which is a very vulnerable state for anybody to be in, to do that and to be like, all right, well now I'm about to step out here in front of everybody, like, let's go fucking see.
Let's see if they resonate.
Yeah.
Putting out that first single or playing those first few shows, you know, you're just like, well, hope they dig it. I hope they're coming to the show.
Not just that, but walking into the room with like your guitar, be like, all right, guys, I'm gonna play some of this new music.
Here I am.
A bunch of suits sitting there, like, give us your best shot, brother.
Yeah.
That's gotta be nerve wracking.
Kind of was for sure. Yeah.
5
It's
foot
definitely.
9. Let me do that again. Let me hit that one more time.
Sorry, that's a little off. Yeah.
yeah.
But it was fun.
God.
Good challenge.
So the first album comes out. It seemed like it was doing really well. I don't follow ratings or anything like that. Were you surprised, happy? Like, what was your first, like, your emotions towards your first solo album that came out?
I was pumped, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first single went to #1, and I think that was sort of like, okay, there, you know, I still have a spot at country radio.
Mm-hmm.
They're still, you know, they're behind me, they're backing me. I felt more and more support. So with more and more support, it just came more momentum and more confidence. You know what I mean? And then I dropped my album, and it was received really well. And then my second single came to country radio, and it went to #1. And again, it was just like, okay, all right, I'm back in the game, baby. I'm, you know, and I'm competitive. I gotta slide at country radio because it is a super competitive. There's so many artists out there that are trying to get that spot. You know what I mean? So it was really nice to be like, okay, I still got support from country radio. The fans are resonating with the music. At the time, you know, last year playing tons of shows and watching every night just kind of grow and grow and grow, and just kind of took that momentum into my next project. And at this point, I'm feeling like, man, I've kind of found my stride. I'm in a groove. The fans are showing up, and it's just steady growing, and watching it grow is fun.
Yeah. All for you too.
Yep.
Which has got to be a unique feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
When you look at this album, like, obviously the songs are going to be different, but what is the different vibe between this new album coming out and your last album?
This one's probably, it's a little shorter. I say this album is kind of creative for the fans. And I've been saying this, but it's so true. Like, last year was the first time that I met my fans, like my personal fans, like in person, and got to play a show for them and watch what's resonating, see what's connecting, see what's working, see what's missing, you know? So I was, at the same time that I was out playing all these shows, I was also taking mental notes and being like, all right, going straight back to the bus and starting to write songs that were like, I feel like the set could use this, or I feel like I want to play something like this live, or I think the fans really dig this. And so we kind of reverse engineered this project, and it's just a fun project. It's really made to play live, and it's really for the fans. Where my first album was, the sole purpose was to introduce myself, you know, and to say, hey, here's who I am, face, name, songs. You know, it's very just cut and dry. I mean, you can even look at the album cover. It's like face, name, songs, you know. It's like, so now it's a little bit like, okay, now we know each other. Now let's have some fun with it. So it's feeling good.
A song for the fans. You talk about writing, like going right from a venue into the bus, and getting after it. You hear like when all the breakup and stuff is going on, Nashville's a small town, so everyone's whispering everybody else's business. And I always heard like, hey, Tyler's the guy. He really writes all the music. He's really the guy, the writer. And so, how hard? Like, what is your process like writing? Does it come very naturally to you writing?
It does. Yeah, it does. And I've been doing it for so long, and I just love like living in Nashville and being around so many epic songwriters, you know what I mean? And getting in the room and collaborating and just writing songs. And a lot of times, you know, I've written with no intention, you know, just to write a song and see where it goes. To like, hey, this song's for us. Let's try to be very intentional with this song. We want to record this song. And then I've also, especially lately, I've been doing tons of writes with other artists, which is probably one of my top favorite things to do, is try to like, you know, I guess pull from another artist. Like, what do you want to say? I basically hang the dartboard is what I call it. And then sit there and try to hit bullseye with the song.
Right.
And so, and when you hit a bullseye and you leave that day, you just feel so like fulfilled. You're just like, man, we crushed that. I think this is going to be perfect for this artist. Hopefully this artist now can have a a big old hit and they can have a career, you know. And so that's really fulfilling for me as a songwriter. But yeah, when it comes to writing for me, it did take a little bit of time to kind of like shift the narrative and think, okay, I'm not writing for a band. I'm not writing for FGL. This is a whole nother thing. So what do I want to, what do I want this to be?
Like, how do I get to know this artist and bring out what they're wanting to say?
Yeah, bro, I sit in a room and just start asking questions for a little while before we even get going writing. I'm just like, all right, like what's next? Where do you want to go? What kind of song do you want to, do?
Yeah.
What do you need? When are you recording next? What's your project sound like? Just because if you don't set the intention, then you can write a great song and it can be like a great song that completely doesn't fit what they're doing. So
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
it's important. But
Who are some of those guys you like to write with the most?
Yeah,
ooh, a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I was wanting to know who his favorites were. Or not favorites. I'm sure he loves them all. But
Tyler loves them all, but we're gonna talk about his favorite.
Yeah, there's a couple collaborations you really enjoyed.
Man, there's some good ones, dude. Chase McGill comes to the top of mine. He's a buddy of mine that's just super talented. My producer, Jordan Smith, he's a lot of fun to write with. I've been writing with him for years, and he's just become quite the songsmith. Michael Hardy. Hardy. Yeah, he is one of the best, in my opinion. And we've been writing for a long time.
It was the first day I heard his first name, too.
I know, Michael Hardy.
I was like, is that? And then he goes, Hardy? Okay, all right.
Got it.
That's when Snow. He's a Ernest.
Yes,
Sorry.
no.
He's a sick writer.
I knew that one. That's an OG throwback.
Right. But there's a lot, bro. I mean, there's some legends, Rodney Clawson's and Craig Wiseman, people that believed in me coming up. I still love writing with them and look up to them a ton. But like I said, this town's so full of great writers, dude. It's crazy. Josh Miller comes to mind. He's one of the greats. Casey Brown, producer, writer that I love.
Now you're just naming them all.
So we're gonna keep going so nobody gets their feelings hurt here.
Just ripping them all. Make sure we don't forget anybody. Ernest, dude, he seems like, I mean, that's the one that comes to mind for me always as far as songwriting.
Even like Hardy would be a lot of fun in the room with.
Yeah.
And they can both do anything. They can do rap, rock, country really well.
Emo?
Really well. Emo.
Ernest's emo album is
I always
so good.
tell people, I'm like, bro, y'all don't even know Ernest. Yeah,
right.
I got a phone full of songs that y'all ain't never heard.
Yes.
That are gonna blow your mind that this is Ernest. Right?
That he sounds like that.
He's been on me. He's been on me about releasing that
emo.
No, that podcast we did in Super Bowl with him.
Oh, I know. He hit the chat recently.
Oh, did he?
I think we got a reason to have him back on too.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
New album?
No.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Not in front of Tyler.
No,
we can't in front of Tyler. We don't want to give the fans the people.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like we can cut it. You're totally right. Yeah, but the Ernest, that dude, this the shit he pulls out of his ass out of nowhere. To me, is like so impressive. And the like the fear, like it's like singing in front of somebody, just on a whim. It's kind of like nerve wracking. Even I don't sing, but I'll do it. But I get nervous.
Right.
And Ernest will just kind of just start singing for no reason sometimes.
Out of nowhere, where you're kind of just like,
all right, and he'll just like, oh, okay, I guess we're in it. He'll sing like not 10 seconds. He'll sing 2.5 the whole song.
Right.
He'll rip the whole song. And it's like, are we enjoying ourselves?
Yeah, he's a beast, bro. He really is.
Cat,
it's been fun watching him come into his own and do his thing.
He's got an album coming out similar time as you too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Great.
I believe so.
Nobody's gonna even hear my
record,
record,
guys.
Yeah, perfect.
Probably shouldn't have said that. I didn't know it was
the race to the top,
baby. Be earned.
He got like 26 songs on that thing.
When's your new album come out?
April 12th.
April 12th. Let's fucking go.
Ernest comes out April 11th.
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, bro.
Cock block,
I
right?
actually don't know when it is. I know it's like summertime, but April 12th.
Yep.
Is there anybody else on the album, or is it just you?
Just me, man.
I like
no
that.
collaborations.
Yeah.
But I'm about ready. I need to dive back into the collab world. I've been pretty intentional about. I've said no to a lot just because I'm like,
Really?
it's not time. I still need to like basically get my own 2 feet planted in the ground, and then we can get back to making some music.
How do you sift through that in your mind of like doing a collaboration? Like if a guy like, Hardy or Jelly or these other guys that, have had the solo act for a little bit.
Yeah.
That would help you get there faster.
I think it's all about the song. I think the song's got to be great first and foremost, and then it's got to be about the timing, and then they got to have a good team, or I'm not really interested because I've been there and done that. And if you don't have a good team or you don't have an artist where the strategy lines up timing wise, it can be difficult,
Yeah.
And so those 3 things have to check off the list, and then yeah. To me, it's mainly about the song though. It's got to be a killer song.
Gotta be a banger.
Yep.
Man,
But Hardy's got a bunch of them. He's somebody I'd collaborate with. I mean, all those guys I'd work with. It's just got to be the right time, right song.
How do you politely say no to somebody that you know?
I'm pretty direct at
Yeah?
this point. Yeah, I'm just like, hey, for me right now, I hope you understand, but I'm being intentional about doing no collaborations. I've said no to a bunch of people, and unfortunately, like right now, timing wise, this isn't something I can do. You know.
Yeah, done.
Most people understand. I mean, you know, there's been no hard feelings.
Yeah, I get shot down all the time.
But yeah, I hear no all the time too.
Yeah.
So trust me, I'm pitching songs left and right. If
Like,
you ain't
no.
comfortable hearing no, then you ain't gonna make it in the music business.
Right. Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Dude, I do gotta say I'm excited to listen to your new album,
Thanks, bro.
especially like sitting with you and listening to you talk through all this stuff. Really appreciative of you
Cool,
being
man.
open about it all.
Of course,
And you can
man.
tell you've went on kind of the journey with it all.
Yeah.
Just touching on a lot of like the therapy words of talking through it. Like we've sat with therapists and stuff, like not like me and him together. Maybe we should.
Marriage
I should
counseling.
sometimes.
Me too.
But yeah, no, for real. I'm really excited to listen to your new album, man. And
Thank you.
thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Long time coming.
Excited to be here.
We'll have to get you on after too.
Let's do it.
Like
Yeah.
3 months down the road. Let's check in.
Yep.
How's that
We'll
going?
bring BK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do that eventually. When the time
be
is
fun.
right, right?
Time's right.
Yeah, when the
everything.
time is
That's
right.
it.
Oh, and make another vlog working out. Remember when he did the
Oh,
workout
yeah,
vlog
bro.
for us?
Pushing-
Oh,
That's right, bro. Got your ass
Pushing
buried.
sleds down the football field. Yeah, I
You
remember.
gotta own it though.
Sometimes I drive past that field and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
that field hurt me.
No,
Yeah.
that
That was fun though.
sled pushes and pulls, man, are
That was
no
fun.
fucking joke. Yeah, it was a good time.
Back after it now, boys. I'm training. I'm getting ready.
Hey, you told me you're getting up at like 4:30 in the morning, working
Yeah,
out at
it's
5.
it's a new thing I'm doing just for not forever, just for like 3 months. But I'm like, I'm gonna set a goal. I'm gonna do this for 3 months, and I'm about 2.5 months in, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, 2.5 months in. You're 4 weeks in. You're like,
Yeah,
2.5
about
months.
2.5 months.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to call
Right
quits,
there.
You know,
Dude, that 4:30 is no joke.
It's not.
That's a big boy
It's
time
not,
to get up.
dude. It's not. Even today, I was like, and I can wake up, and once the workout's going, I'm straight. But then after the workout, it like hits me again. I'm like, oh, bro, I could just go. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But it's fun, and to be honest, like that's the time I had to pick to like be consistent because my schedule's so all over the place. Kids waking up at 6:30 and getting ready, for, the school
Right.
thing. It's
Yeah.
just there was not really a window that I could be consistent with. So I'm like, you know what, we're just gonna do it.
Will and I, we work out at the same place, and I have to legit be there at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
for me to get the things I have to get done because my kids were off to school 7:15. Like we live 25 minutes away from our school,
Right.
and he cruises in there 6:30. I'm just thinking, bro,
Chilling.
if I had those 30 minutes.
Yep.
Just you'll
No.
know soon when your kid also goes to the
Talking
same
about
school
you
as us.
sat out in your truck for like 15, 30
What
extra
you
minutes.
talking about?
I saw your Wagoneer sitting out there while I was finishing my
I
workout.
was at home avoiding for a second, man. I had
But
to
the
get-
one time I show up
wanna
at
help put the
6:30?
kids, sometimes I get home and Taylor's already getting the girls ready. I'm like, good, I'll sit down
Like, I
here.
got some
for a
work to do
second.
in this car for another 20
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
guilty of that too,
Checks
bro.
in. Oh, yeah,
I'm so
oh, yeah.
guilty.
It's different when you're not on your own schedule always.
Right.
That's just with the school thing too.
Yeah, man.
It's the route to go because you want to be home in the morning and put on the dad hat, put on the husband hat,
Yeah,
the partner hat.
absolutely.
So it's like the only time to get it done.
That's why I was literally like just 3 months, then I'll reassess. I'll reassess where my life's at because I'm about
Yeah.
to start tour, which is going to be, I can't get up at 4:30 on tour because I can't go to bed at 9 o'clock like I can at home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it'll be an adjustment, but we'll keep it rocking.
And then if you choose to work out in the afternoon, the morning gets going or the day gets going, and you kind of like just push it off.
Oh,
'cause
bro.
if I don't do it first thing, then I'm probably not gonna do
That's
it.
the same with me,
I'm the
bro.
same way. But I'll tell myself all day until I lay my head in the pillow at night. I'm gonna do
Still
this.
think like, okay, 9 p.m. I'll make my
After
way.
dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
After
yeah.
dinner, I'll put the Roger
Rue
put
goes
the
down
kids
off the
just Go
bike.
get 30 minutes in real quick. I'm
Yeah.
like, man,
Never
I'll
happens.
just wait till tomorrow.
yeah.
I didn't
Tomorrow,
lose
I'm
a
gonna
lot. I ate
crush
pretty
it
good.
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's
Yeah.
going to be good. I'll make up for today.
Consistency is the hardest thing to do. We
Yeah.
appreciate you, man.
Bro, thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah. What's the new
Bro,
album
this was
called?
a lot of fun.
It's called Strong.
Strong.
Speaking of working out, here we go.
Strong. April 12th.
Let's go.
12th?
April 12th.
Yeah.
April 12th. Out April 12th. Go get it everywhere, dude. Spotify, Apple.
Big
Everywhere.
hugs, tiny kisses.
I'm glad y'all are done talking. I'm about to